Ohai gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbanwa, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Rounds Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. The commentary and views are our opinions and are not affiliated with the NPB, the Pacific League, Central League, or their sponsors. We are giving English reports on the games being played and hope that English-speaking audiences and fans around the world can enjoy the game on YouTube along with us. Tonight, we're going to be bringing you from the Zozo Marine Stadium. It is going to be the Chiba Lotte Marines and the Orix Buffaloes. And it is our first of our two games that we're going to be covering on the weekend. And so we are now going to bring you the starting lineups from tonight's ball game. And we'll start right off with the Orix Buffaloes. And so leading off and playing first base, wearing number 41 is Kodai Sano. Batting second, playing third base, wearing number 4 is Barrick Valera, former Toronto Blue Jay. Batting third in left field, wearing number 7 is Masataka Yoshida. In the cleanup spot and playing in right field, wearing number 99 is Yutaro Sugimoto. Batting fifth and doing the designated hitting is Ranhel Ravello. Batting sixth and in center field, wearing number 1 is Shuhei Fukuda. The shortstop is batting seventh. That's going to be Kataro Kobayashi, and he wears number 24. Batting eighth is the second baseman wearing number 31, Ryo Oda. And batting ninth and doing the catching wearing number 2 is Kenya Wakatsuki. And they are going to be facing the starter for the Marines, and that's going to be Kazuya Ojima. He takes to the hill with a no-win and no-loss record this season after one start. He is going to be obviously head-to-head against the ace of the Orix pitching staff, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And now we're going to give you the starting lineups for the Chiba Lotte Marines. Leading off and playing in left field, wearing number 38, is Akito Takabe. Batting second in center field, wearing number 1, is Kyoto Fujiwara. Batting third and doing the catching, wearing number 32, is Toshiya Sato. In the cleanup spot, wearing number 54, is Brandon Laird. Batting fifth and in right field, wearing number 79, is Leonis Martin. Batting sixth and playing first base, wearing number 5, is Hisanori Yasuda. Batting seventh and playing third base, wearing number 55, is Edney Hechavarria. Batting eighth and playing second base, wearing number 40, is Koki Fukuda. And batting ninth and playing shortstop, wearing number 4, is Yudai Fujioka. And as we said, they're going to be facing the ace of the Orix Buffalo staff and arguably the best pitcher in the entire NPB. Yoshinobu Yamamoto will get the start. He is 2-0. He's pitched 15 innings so far this year, allowing 8 hits. He is yet to allow an earned run. He has walked 3 and struck out 17. He has a ERA of 0. And so those are your starting lineups, and we're ready to go. Our friend Troy is back in the house tonight, as is Steve Rademacher. We appreciate you guys being here in our chat. We look forward to having you tonight, and hopefully we get ourselves a decent crowd. So stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment after this, as we're about ready to get this one underway. We'll be back in 30 seconds, everybody, as the starting pitcher for the Chiba Lotte Marines, Kazuya Ojima, is just taking to the hill. We'll be back after this with the call of the ball game in 30 seconds. Welcome back, everybody. We're just about ready to get this one underway as the starting pitcher, the left-hander Kazuya Ojima, is taken to the hill. He is just in the middle of his warm-up tosses. He's going to be facing the Orix Buffaloes here on the top of the first inning. It's going to be Kodai Sano, Breivik Valera, and Masataka Yoshida. I get things going for the Buffaloes in their half of the first inning. Sano, of course, is leading off. He's batting .429 on the season. He's got a homer and a couple RBIs. And he has, of course, some of these stats are sort of limited as Sano has been a part-time player, but he's thrust into the top spot in the batting order. Valera, of course, is a former Toronto Blue Jay who has come over for the first time to the Japanese League. He's getting the opportunity to play third base tonight. And, of course, the hitting star for the Buffaloes is Masataka Yoshida. He's an outright hitting machine. He is the one who is going to be in the 3-hole tonight. The wind is typical in Chiba. It is blowing from center field. The flags are stiff. It is at about 13 miles an hour. And so we're ready to get this one underway. It's a very interesting look. The Orix Buffaloes are wearing their dark tops and white pants. Chiba is wearing their dark tops and white pants. It's hard to tell the two apart, but here comes the first pitch of the ball game, and it is a fastball delivered off the outside corner. And we are underway here at officially 2:01 Japanese time, or 14:01. It's 1 ball and no strikes to the hitter, Sano. And back to work goes Ojima. He delivers a fastball, and that is fouled away, and the count is 1-1. It's a bright and sunny day in Chiba, but the wind is blustery. A lot of the players are wearing their sleeves to try to stay warm. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. Ojima delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's fouled away over on the first base side, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Sano. These two teams are facing off for the second game in a 3-game set. Of course, we are bringing it to you here. We've tried to get to some of the earlier games in the week, or some of the earlier starts. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-2. For us, the weekend games are probably going to be the best features for us to be able to do it. Defending champion Orix Buffaloes have tripped out of the gates this year. They're 5-8 to start the season. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted to left field. The wind is going to knock it down. It's going to carry into foul territory, and making the catch is the left fielder Akito Takabe for out number 1 here in the first inning. That is 1 up and 1 away, and that's going to bring up Breivik Valera. For Valera on the season, he's batting .250. He's got a homer and 4 RBIs. As we said, he's in his first tour of the NPB, so to speak. He was with the Toronto Blue Jays organization last year. He's a right-handed hitter who's got a slightly open stance, and he takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. As I said, it's very difficult to tell the difference between the two teams, other than the fact that there's some gold trim with the Buffaloes. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to first, and that is going to be flipped over to the pitcher covering, as Ojima is going to make the putout. It's going to go down as a ground out, 3-1 for out number 2 here in the first inning, and that's going to leave it up to Masataka Yoshida. As we said, the Buffaloes have stumbled out of the gate, so to speak. They're 5-8 to get things going. Their opponents, the Chiba Lotte Marines, have been playing slightly over 500 as they're 6-5, win 1, lose 1 baseball. The class of the Pacific League right now has been the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, who are 10-1. Of course, the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles are the next team at 7 wins. There's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Yoshida. Yoshida is batting .255. He's got no homers and 7 runs batted in. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count now goes to 1-1 on Yoshida. Back to work goes the lefty Ojima, and he delivers a fastball, and that swung on and missed, and now the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Masataka Yoshida. Again, the lefty Ojima gets the sign from his catcher. He goes back to work, and there's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count now runs even to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yoshida ready to face Ojima, lefty versus lefty, and there's a breaking ball that misses down and away. And the count now is 3-2. A little surprised the way he's dancing around Masataka Yoshida here. One would think that he's going to attack him with nobody on base. Let him be the hitter here. Let him put the ball in play, whatever he has to do. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the payoff pitch. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and Masataka Yoshida has drawn himself a 2-out walk here in the top of the first inning. That's going to bring up the right fielder, Yutaro Sugimoto. For Sugimoto on the season, he has really struggled to get things going out of the gate. He's batting 130 with a homer and 4 RBIs. He was a big part of the offense last year for the Buffaloes. The starting right fielder last season batted .301, and he pounded out 32 homers. 13 games into the season, and he's pretty much struggling. He's working at about a third of the pace that he was at last year. The pitcher, Ojima, flips it over to first base, and diving back in time goes Yoshida. So here comes the first pitch now to Sugimoto as the lefty holds at the belt. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. It was a good pitch by the lefty to get ahead in the count here. Not sure what Sugimoto was thinking. That was a very good pitch. Now you got to be aggressive right out of the gate here, especially as he's facing. And there's another fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-2. You can tell sometimes when hitters just maybe aren't seeing the ball well just by their body language. There's been 2 pitches and 2 fastballs that basically split the plate in half. Sugimoto, I don't know if he's upset with himself or talking to himself because he's just not ready to hit. So here comes the 0-2 from Ojima. He kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball down. It's a nice stop by the catcher, Sato. It's going to run the count now to 1 ball and 2 strikes. The lefty Ojima is rubbing up the baseball. As he's ready to go back to work, Yoshida establishes his lead at first. It's a decent matinee crowd here today in Chiba, and there's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trice says, "Let's go, Buffaloes." Absolutely. Trice said he lost hope at the Tigers game today. He was in Detroit to see the Detroit Tigers. Obviously super excited to get the season going. That was a great comeback in that ball game today. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Sugimoto is retired on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning, and that is going to do it here in the top of the 1st. So for Orix, they had no runs, there was no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. Through a half inning, it is the Orix Buffaloes, nothing. The Chiba Lotte Marines coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment with the call of the bottom of the 1st inning in just a moment. Here is our friend Matt.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just 1 roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the bottom of the 1st inning, and I am definitely excited to call this one. It is Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the hill for the Buffaloes. The power arm of the Buffaloes is getting himself warmed up. He's had an absolutely outstanding start to the campaign. He's 2-0 with 15 innings pitched, only allowing 8 hits. He has not allowed a earned run. He's walked 3 and struck out 17. That is a 0.00 ERA to his name. Definitely Yoshinobu Yamamoto As the man to keep an eye on tonight, one would expect that he is going to set the table for the Buffaloes to be able to go deep into this one. As we said the other night, the number 18 is reserved for the ace of the staff, and that is the 18, which is what the Yamamoto wears. It is also the same number worn by Masahiro Tanaka for the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. So here comes the first pitch from Yamamoto. It's a fastball delivered at 95 miles an hour, and he blows it by Akito Takabe for a quick strike, and it is 0-1. Yamamoto doesn't waste time. He goes back to work, and again, it's a fastball swung on and missed, and we're quickly 0-2. Takabe is batting .239 on the season. He's got no homers and 4 RBIs. And here we go back to work, and here's the pitch from Yamamoto. It's a fastball swung on, and this ball is grounded down the left field line Rounding first is Takabe. He stumbles, but he heads back to first base with a single. He rounded the bag, he tripped, he fell, and he is bored with a leadoff single. That pitch at 0-2 was way too good. It was up in the zone. He did a good job of staying on top of the fastball and being able to hammer it down the left field line the other way. But he stumbles around the base, and he's got himself a leadoff single here in the bottom of the first inning. Troy says he can't understand why the Rays gave us Meadows for Paredes and a pick. I can. Money. So this brings up Kyoto Fujiwara. Fujiwara is squaring to bunt. And there is a fastball down, and the count is quickly 1 ball and no strikes to Fujiwara. Fujiwara on the season is hitting a .190. He is got no homers and no RBIs. He's 4 for 21. And just to carry on with the thought about Troy in the chat, the most interesting thing that Tampa will do, they want the pick. That competitive balance pick is something that they're interested in. Austin Meadows, basically, I believe he's got $4 million on this year's contract. He's arbitration eligible for the next year or 2 years, and a free agent in 2025. And there's the fastball delivered. It's bunted down the third base line, but it's picked up foul by the third baseman Valera. That's going to even the count at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Nash says, nice win today by the Tigers. He expects them to win again tomorrow with Cease on the mound. You might be onto something, Nash. So really what it boils down to, Troy, is how they are able to scout and to draft and to develop. Whereas when you look at the Tigers, unless they get the top picks fall into their lap, they've really not done a great job of developing players. And here's a fastball delivered. And it was originally squared to bunt. Now he pulls it back. It's fielded by Yamamoto. He fires to first, but it gets by the first baseman. It's down the line. Racing over to third is Takabe. And he is at third base. And the Chiba Lotte Marines have something brewing here in the first inning, as that is going to go down as an E1, because he did have a chance to get the base runner Fujiwara at first base. But he ends up spiking it into the dirt, and now he's getting a visit from his catcher, Kenya Wakatsuki. Just watch that again. It ended up spiking it into the dirt. The first baseman who was there doesn't do a great job of getting his body in front of it. It ended up getting right on through the first baseman, Sano. It went down the right field line, and that puts runners on second and third with nobody out, and that brings up Toshiya Sato to the plate. And the first pitch delivered to Sato is a breaking ball that catches the inside corner, and the count is 0-1. I would also put it in this perspective, Troy, when you think about it, it's like the New England Patriots in football. You get rid of a player 1 year too early before a year too late. And so with their outfield, they've got quite a bit of stuff over there that they can more than survive. And there's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-2. It looks like their current top prospect, not Wander Franco, because I don't know if I can consider Franco a prospect anymore, but Vidal Bruján has been moved into the outfield. So with Kiermaier and Manny Margot and Randy Arozarena. There's a fastball down in the dirt, and the count now is 1-2 to Sato. That last fastball was of the split finger variety. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And so Yamamoto ready to go back to work. Just thinking about that again, Troy, just finishing off, the Tampa Bay Rays just have a glutton of outfield material there. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and Sato is gone on strikes for the first out of the inning. Our friend Nash says, did you see the Jays come back? I caught a little bit of it at the very end there. I was actually, did the earlier game tonight, I did the game between the Reds and the Braves. What I thought was fascinating is the 7-0 lead by the Braves almost evaporated. So that was a game that ended up being worthwhile watching. The Reds had a chance to win the ball game in the 9th inning. They had runners aboard and had a chance not just to tie it, but to go ahead. So that brings up Brandon Laird to the plate. Laird is hitting .256. He's got a homer and 6 runs batted in so far. The first pitch from Yamamoto is a split finger pitch swung on and missed. And the count is quickly 0-1. And Troy adds, he says, yes, the Jays have one of the best lineups by far. It is very deep. And when Ronald Acuna Jr. comes back for the Braves, that is going to be a very deep lineup. It's already deep right now, and it just gets deeper. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Laird. Laird will be followed by Leonis Martin. Waits his turn on deck. And Ash says, Kenley Jansen being Kenley Jansen. That's absolutely correct. When he comes in a non-pressure situation, he just seems to not have that same focus. And there's a fastball delivered to Laird, who takes it for a called strike. And the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Brandon Laird. Yamamoto gets the sign from his catcher. He's ready to go back to work. Comes set at the chest, and he kicks and delivers, and it is a split finger pitch down in the dirt. And the count is 2-2. Laird did a really good job of recognizing the pitch and laying off of the pitch, as that is one of Yamamoto's bread and butter pitches, a split finger pitch. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Laird. The runner at second is Fujiwara. The runner at third is Takabe. There's 1 dead here in the bottom of the first inning. There's a breaking ball that misses off the outside corner, and that runs the count full to Laird. The runners get their lead, second and third. And here comes the payoff pitch from Yamamoto. Steve Rademacher in the house tonight, putting his link into the chat. Be sure to check him out and tell him to get a haircut. There's a split finger pitch that misses down, and Laird is aboard with a base on balls. And this is going to bring up Leonis Martin to the plate. So Yamamoto getting himself into some early trouble here. If I probably would have had to make a pick before the game, I would have picked the Buffaloes. However, with that being said, I definitely believe that the Marines here playing at home may have had that little eraser advantage facing Yamamoto. So Martin steps in at the plate, and the first pitch is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. Leonis Martin is off to a slow start here this year. He's batting $162. He's got a homer and 3 runs batted in. As we said, it's a beautiful clear day in Chiba. High skies. The wind is blowing and the flags are coming straight in. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count now goes to 0-2. Pitch just came under the hands of Martin on the inside corner of the plate. The left-hander Ojima is up and throwing in front of the dugout. I think we mentioned it before. It was one of the ones that we were talking about. The pitchers will throw in front of the dugout, which is always kind of entertaining. And there's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count is 1-2. You don't see that in Major League Baseball with the pitchers getting up and throwing in front of the dugout. But certainly there are times when pitchers go into the dugout and they sit there for far too long because the inning goes on forever. They lose their timing, they lose their rhythm, they lose some of their sweat. So to be able to get up and to stand up and to throw is a good thing. The bullpens are so far down. You can't do that. And there's a fastball. This is swung on. This ball is hit to deep right field. Moving back onto the warning track, but he's going to have room as the right fielder Sugimoto. Tagging at third is Takabe. He is going to score. It's a long sacrifice fly for Leonis Martin. And the Chiba Lotte Marines have opened up the scoring here in the bottom of the first inning. On a sacrifice fly by Martin, he's got himself an RBI. And that is going to bring up Hisanori Yasuda. Ironically, not only is the wind being blown in from straightaway center field, it's almost from left center to right center. We want to welcome Vivid Life into the house. We also want to welcome John Cardona into the house. Appreciate you being here as well. Tagging from second going to third was Fujiwara, so there are runners now on the corners with 2 away here in the first inning. So the runner at first base is Laird. The runner at third is Fujiwara. And here comes the first pitch to Yasuda. It's a fastball, take it for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Yeah, we appreciate everybody who checks in here, that's for sure. Yasuda on the season is batting .294. He's got no homers and 1 RBI. And here comes the pitch from Yamamoto. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count goes to 1-1. We hope to have a festive crowd in here tonight. It's always a little bit different. We kind of get a chuckle when we do some of the major league games that we have a decent crowd. People come in to listen. But the gamblers usually come out during the weekdays in the Japanese games. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. We have a different type of crowd some nights, and the 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed. That's going to run the count now to 1-2. Certainly not been an efficient inning for Yamamoto. He's going to be delivering his 24th pitch in a moment to Yasuda. It started off when Takabe had that single with 2 strikes. He left the pitch way up in the zone. Takabe did a great job of staying on top of the ball and slapping it down the left field line. That got things going. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. Yamamoto kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and missed. And that is going to retire Yasuda here for out number 3 in the first inning. So for the Chiba Lotte Marines in their half of the first, they had 1 run in the inning. There was 1 hit. There was 1 error, and there were 2 runners left on base. They're now through 1 complete. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 1, the Orix Buffaloes nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment. For the top of the second inning, Vivid Life says, I'll be a return visitor. I'm really enjoying this Japanese baseball. We enjoy the people who love to listen to the Japanese game. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's another Hollis build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
That's right, everybody. Make sure you check out Matt Hollis and another Hollis build after our stream today. He's a supporter of our channel, and in return, we like to support him, and we thank him for doing that. We have Rangel Rivero, Shuhei Fukuda, and Kotaro Kobayashi. It's going to be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters coming to bat to face the left-hander Kazuya Ojima. We're ready to get this one back underway. For Ravello, he is batting 185 on the season. He's got a homer and a couple RBIs. We were commenting how there's been a power outage in the Pacific League. Tonight, there's only 4 players in the lineup with a home run, and they've each got one. There's a breaking ball that's dropped in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Ravello. Left-hander against the right-hander, and Ojima fires a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. The part I like best about the Japanese game is how quickly the pitchers work. There's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner, and the count now goes to 2-1 to Ravello. They do not waste time, do these pitchers. They get the ball for the most part and really work quickly. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and there is a breaking ball swung on. It's tap foul behind home plate, and the count is 2-2. Our friend Vivid Life says he'll be a return visitor. He's enjoying the Japanese ball. He works the 3rd shift Eastern time. So absolutely, that is the way it goes. 3rd shift, depending upon where you're at. It used to be the afternoon shift in the Detroit area. And here comes a breaking ball. It's swung on. It's grounded slowly to 3rd. It's picked up by Edney Hechavarria. He fires to 1st, and that is going to retire Ravello on a ground out 5-3 for out number 1. That is going to bring up the center fielder, Shuhei Fukuda. We often used to refer to the midnight shift as the number 1 shift. And so that was the one we're at, but everybody's got their different places and the way that they do things. So Shuhei Fukuda steps to the plate. He's batting .224 with no homers and 2 RBIs. And he takes a first pitch fastball on the outside corner, and the count quickly goes to 0-1. And here comes again the pitch to Fukuda. It's a fastball upstairs, and the count is 1-1. As we said, Ojima wastes no time. He gets the ball back, and he is ready to go to work. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to 1st. It's fielded neatly by the first baseman, Yasuda. He's going to take it himself. It's going to go down as a ground out to 3 for out number 2. And so with that, with 2 up, there is 2 away here in the 2nd, and that leaves it up to Kotaro Kobayashi. So Vivid Life asked the question, who do you have as the favorite to win in this game? Before the game started, you have to give the edge to the Buffaloes and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And here's the pitch. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. I'm always excited to do the games that Yamamoto pitches. I consider him to be, if he's not the best pitcher in the NPB, he's got to be one of the top 3. So it's a lot of fun to do his games. He's a power arm. But he's off to a bit of a slow start tonight, and there's a breaking ball swung on. This is lifted into shallow center field. Moving over underneath it is going to be the center fielder, Fujiwara. He's going to make the catch, and that is going to retire Kobayashi for the 3rd out of the inning. So for the Buffaloes, they go quietly in their half of the 2nd. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're through 1.5. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 1 and the Orix Buffaloes nothing. I'll fix the ticker here in the bottom of the 2nd. Thanks for coming in, everybody. We appreciate you guys doing this stuff and being here. I'll answer your questions when we come back in just a moment. Here's our friend Steve Rademacher.
Hello, kids. Steve coming at you. It's Steve Rademacher. And if you like interesting stuff, if you like to laugh a little bit, and if you enjoy collecting, this channel's for you. If you like non-sport cards, we have them. You like pseudo-sport cards, we open them. Even if you like entire boxes of completely pointless stuff or other sports. We have everything here. I drop a different video every day, and there's always a theme to it, from No Filter Friday to Saturday morning cartoons, even Sunday shoutouts. Once in a while, we'll get a little froggy and show Money Money Monday, where I showcase a bunch of my currency. We have Legos, we have Star Wars, we have a good time. We even have my brother on Takeover Tuesday. Be there or be square. Back to Freddy.
Appreciate you there, Steve. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom of the second inning. It's going to be Edney Hechavarria, Koki Fukuda, and Yudai Fujioka to get things going for the Marines in their half of the second. Our friend Troy asked the question, when did you start watching the NPB? I've always been a follower of the NPB over the last probably 30 years or so. I had a friend of mine, his dad played in the league. And of course, that's going back many moons ago. So, to know about some of that stuff and, you get to see some of the players probably piqued my interest in the late 80s when Cecil Fielder had come back to the Detroit Tigers after he played a year with the Hanshin Tigers and basically reinvented his career. And there was a fastball delivered to Hechavarria taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and one strike to Hechavarria. Yamamoto ready to go back to work. And he delivers a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is now 0-2. Hechavarria batting .273 on the young season with a homer and 3 RBIs. Yamamoto ready to go back to work. He kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Hechavarria is disposed of on strikes for out number 1 here in the bottom of the second. 1 up and 1 away, and that brings up Koki Fukuda. So just to build on that a little bit more, so when Cecil Fielder came back, he came back and played for the Tigers, and then the Tigers went out and re-signed another player who was over the NPB. That was Bill Gullickson. Gullickson was a former Montreal Expo and a Cincinnati Red, and he came back and was very impactful in the early 90s for the Tigers. It would have been about 1991 that Gullickson had a great year. So here we go back to the live action. Yamamoto kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded slowly to second. Fielded neatly by the second baseman, Oda. He throws to first, and it's going to retire Fukuda on a ground out, 4-3. Just like that, we have 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to leave it all up to Yudai Fujioka. So those were the ones that kind of got my attention early on. And then, of course, if you go back historically, I remember as a young fella back in the 80s when Warren Cromartie left the Montreal Expos in a contracts dispute. And he went over and played and basically finished his career off. Well, he came back with the Kansas City Royals, but basically played the prime of his career in Japan, and he was fantastic for the Murray Giants. There's a fastball taken just below the knees, and it's 1-0 to Fujioka. Back to work goes Yamamoto. He kicks and delivers, and there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Yamamoto ready to go back to work again. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-2. I also had a mutual friend who was friends with Carl Tuffy Rhodes, who broke Sadahara O's record for home runs. And there's a fastball that is taken on the inside corner for a called third strike, and Yudai Fujioka is gone for out number 3 here in the second inning. Just like that, through 4 innings, Yamamoto's got 4 strikeouts, and we are now completed 2 innings. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board for Chiba. Just be right with us, everybody. This game's going to skip along quickly. We're moving to the top of the third. The score is the Chiba Lotte Marines 1, the Orix Buffaloes 0. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a moment after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the third inning, and it's going to be Ryo Ota, Kenya Wakatsuki, and we have Kodai Sano, the 8-9-1 hitters in the Orix batting order, to face Kazuya Ojima as he's ready to begin his third inning of work. Both of these pitchers, they move quickly, they work quickly. We expect, as long as they stay in the ball game, that this game will move quickly. So we appreciate you guys for being here tonight. This one might be a 2-hour plus game, unlike some of the 3-hour marathons we witness in Major League Baseball. So here we go. This is Ryo Ota stepping to the plate. He is batting 160 on the early season. He's got no homers and 1 RBI. And the first pitch from Ojima is a fastball swung on. This is lifted up behind second base in foul territory. Moving over underneath it is the second baseman Fukuda, and he's going to make the catch. That is going to retire Ota with 1 pitch. There is 1 away on a pop-up behind second. That's going to bring up the catcher, Kenya Wakatsuki. Wakatsuki on the season is batting .053. He's got no homers, RBIs, or really anything across the slash line. And he steps up to the plate. So Vivid Life asked the question about the favorite to win the game, and I started to answer that question, and there's a fastball delivered to Wakatsuki for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Obviously, with Yamamoto on the mound, he is the number 1 pitcher in my eyes in the NPB. If he's not, he's probably top 2 or 3, depending on who you talk to. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count's 1-1. However, because he is pitching on the road, I probably would have said possibly the Marines would have had a chance to be able to beat him. They've got to be able to keep it close. Anything with a lead or anything close getting into where they can chase Yamamoto or maybe chase him early will tend to favor the home team. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is hit to deep left center field. Moving over is the center fielder, and now he's got to really come in to catch it. The wind is playing absolute havoc. It's a nice catch by the center fielder, Fujiwara, but this here, it is going to be absolutely wild. He is retired for out number 2, but this is going to look like a San Francisco Giant ball game because the wind is swirling and it is blowing hard. And so once it starts coming back into the stadium part of the play, it's turning into a real adventure for the outfielders. So there's 2 away, and that's going to leave it up to Kodai Sano, who's hitting in the top of the order tonight. Sano tonight is 0-for-1. He flew out to left his first time up, and he takes a first pitch breaking ball away outside for ball 1. And the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Sano. And there is a breaking ball, and this ball is lifted into deep left center field, but this one is going to get down, and it's off the wall. Digging for second is the runner Sano, and he's going to be held up at second base with a stand-up double. And that is going to put Sano in scoring position with 2 outs. And it's going to leave it up to Breivik Valera. John asks the question, who has the bullpen advantage in this game? And I would say, in my opinion, that I would give a slight edge to the Chiba Lotte Marines, but the pitcher's got to get to at least through 7 innings to have that advantage. If they leaves at 5 or leaves at 6 innings, then the longer it is, it's that link. Those link guys are a bit of a problem. But Masuda can come in and close the game out in the 9th inning, and they can usually be able to seal it off. And there's a fastball delivered to Valera. He swings at the first pitch. He grounds it to short. Fielded neatly by the shortstop Fujioka. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Valera on a ground out, 6-3 for the 3rd out of the inning. And so for the Orix Buffaloes here in the top of the 3rd, there was no runs, there was 1 hit, there were no doubles or no errors, and 1 runner left on base. We're butchering this all tonight, so we'll give it to you again. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. We are now through 2.5. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 1, the Orix Buffaloes nothing. Stick around, everybody. I'll answer some of your questions when I get back in just a moment. We appreciate you all being here. Here's again another Hall of Fame memory. Welcome back, everybody. I just got a few questions in the chat, and so I hope that answers John Cardona's question of who has the bullpen advantage. Sauce Up the Game asks, is the weather bad in Japan right now? Actually, it's a sunny day. It's high skies. It is a beautiful sunshiny day. The problem is it's the wind that is the issue. The wind is blowing in from left center field across the diamond, and it is blowing hard. The flags are pretty much straight out. So it is playing havoc with the balls that are in flight. Ashman Eraldson comes in. So just to give you an idea, Ashman, we're in the bottom of the third. The visiting team is on the left. The home team is on the right. So the home team is now batting. So the home team is the Chiba Lotte Marines. And the first pitch delivered to Kito Takabe is a split finger pitch swung on and fouled away. And the count is quickly 0-1. And Ashman asks, is it 7 or 9 innings? Softball is 7. Baseball is 9. We are playing baseball today. So thanks, everybody, for being here tonight. Here's the pitch from Yamamoto. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Takabe. Takabe got things going in the first inning with a leadoff single. He later came around and scored on a sacrifice fly by Leonis Martin, and there's a fly ball lifted into left field. And moving over and still moving over is the left fielder, and that is Masataka Yoshida, who makes the catch, and that is going to retire Takabe for the first out here in the third inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that is going to bring up the center fielder, Kyoda Fujiwara. I will say this, that the left fielder, Masataka Yoshida, he's not what I would consider out there for his glove. He's there because he can really swing the bat. So here comes the pitch. It is a fastball, take it for a called strike. And the count is 0-1 to Fujiwara. Fujiwara reached base on an error by the pitcher his first time up. We've got our friend in the house, our St. Louis Cardinals 1990 and Blue Jays fan. It's a good day to be a fan of both. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-1. Ryan, welcome to the stream. And so here comes the 1-1 pitch, and there is a fastball swung on and missed. And the count now goes to 1-2. Did you get your card in the mail yet there, Ryan? We sent it out. I would have thought maybe it would have came in last week. We appreciate your support of the channel. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded up the middle, and it's going to get through for a base hit into center field. And Kyoda Fujiwara is aboard with a single. And he is going to be the runner at first as Toshiya Sato steps to the plate. Sauce Up the Game asked the question, I think I asked before, do you speak multiple languages? Well, English is the native tongue. I have some French and some German, having lived and worked in Germany. But both of those, I would say, I have a better understanding of French. But it's been many years since I've studied French. And my German is what I call barnyard German. It gets me by. But I have a little bit of both. And there's a fastball that is taken for a called strike. And the count is quickly 0-1 to Sato. So Sato tonight is 0 for 1. And so here comes the 0-1 pitch to Sato. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's tapped slowly over to third. They throw to second for 1. Back to first, and it's not in time. Safe is the catcher, Sato, getting down the line. So it's going to go down as a fielder's choice. 5-4. It's going to erase Fujiwara at second for the second out of the inning. That allows Sato to be the runner at first base, and that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Brandon Laird. But I do find it fascinating. I like when I go to other countries, certainly when I was in Japan, picking up some of the Japanese language as quickly as possible, as much as I possibly can. Makes it a little bit easier. Of course, I will be the first one to say I have no intention of learning the Japanese script. That in itself is a challenge. And there's a breaking ball delivered to Brandon Laird, and he Misses inside, and Laird spins around and he walks off of the plate. Ball 1 to Laird. The crowd today, as we said at the top of the stream, is a much better crowd in Chiba than we saw earlier before, and partly because it is a sunny day. We saw that the temperatures would have been in the upper 50s, and Yamamoto fires over to first. And diving back in time is the base runner Sato. So 1 ball and no strikes to Laird. Ryan says his package is there, so that's good, Ryan. We're pleased to hear that. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes to Laird. Sauce Up the Game asked the question, how many fans are there? We don't have the official attendance yet. Usually that comes in about the 7th or the 8th inning. For some of you, I'm answering questions. We are streaming on Twitch, so Sauce Up Game is actually watching on Twitch, so you may not see the feed in the YouTube chats. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is now 2-1 to Laird. So 2 balls and 1 strike. So usually, if I had to give an estimate right now, I would say it's probably north of 20,000 fans for this one today. We've seen a couple other games in Chiba where the crowd has been below 20 in the 18 and 19,000 range. There's a fastball swung on. This is fouled away. The count goes to 2-2. I would think with a greater number of people in the stands, there's probably a lot more children that are there enjoying the game today. We see a little bit of a younger crowd. It is an afternoon affair, so they're getting a chance to see their home team play. Here comes the 2-2. Yamamoto holds at the chest. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is grounded into right field. It's a base hit. Sugimoto comes up firing back into the infield, and it's cut off. It's going to hold the runner Sato at second. But Laird has himself a base hit here, and that is going to bring up the right fielder Leonis Martin. So Yamamoto is definitely not the sharp Yamamoto we are used to seeing, as he is already given up a couple of base hits here in the inning, and that's the 3rd so far that he's allowed in the ball game. Nice piece of hitting by Brandon Laird to be able to go the other way and stick it through the 4-hole. So Laird's aboard with a single. The runner at second is Sato. The runner at first is Laird. There's 2 away. And Leonis Martin is stepping up to the plate. Martin tonight had a sacrifice fly his first time up. He drove in the game's only run. And here comes the pitch from Yamamoto. It's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Again, the flags are just blowing like crazy. It's going to be a very, very hard. I could see this game be decided by something crazy that's going to happen on a fly ball that's going to either drop or be dropped just because of the way that the wind is blowing. So here comes the 1 strike to Martin. Yamamoto kicks and delivers. It's a fastball. There goes the runner. The catcher fakes the throw down to second, but he spikes it into the turf. And it looks like they wanted to try to go back door on the base runner over there, and he absolutely just fires it right into the ground. So that's going to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. I saw that last year from one of the teams. It might have been the same Orix Buffalo team, but a different catcher who actually spiked it into the ground and ended up going down the 3rd baseline. There is a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-2, and it actually ended up where the runner did advance just because of the throw that was there. I think it was Yuma Mune was playing 3rd base, and he had to go and retrieve the ball. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Martin digs in. He's waiting on the offering from Yamamoto. Here comes the 1-2. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball. It just misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-2. That last pitch was at 95 miles an hour under the hands. Martin had to do the tango to get out of the way there. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, Yamamoto comes set at the chest. He checks the runner at second and he delivers. It's a split finger pitch, swung on and fouled right into the catcher, and that's going to keep the count at 2-2. That's the 51st pitch of the ball game for Yamamoto, and we're only here in the 3rd inning. So I know that John had asked earlier who I think was going to win this one, and as I said at the outset, but if they can get Yamamoto chased here fairly quick, the advantage, in my opinion, swings heavily to the Marines. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on. It is popped up right at home plate. Then back towards the backstop goes the catcher, and it's going to blow into the stands. That might have been one of those situations where it was a pop-up. If the wind isn't blowing like it is, it might stay in the yard, but because the wind is blowing in from center field or left center field, that pop-up was taken straight back right into the seats. That gives second life to Leonys Martin. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Martin digs in. Yamamoto gets the sign from his catcher, Wakatsuki, and he's ready to go back to work. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And there is a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. The runners are going to be off in motion on the delivery of this pitch to the plate. So a base hit here could score the runner all the way from first. However, it is Brandon Laird, so it would probably have to be into the gap for a double, as he doesn't run as well as he used to. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. Yamamoto delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is pop foul behind home plate. And again, it keeps the count at 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Leonys Martin. This is going to be the 9th pitch of the at-bat that Martin is going to see. He's really turned this into a battle. Yamamoto again gets the sign from his catcher, Wakatsuki. And now Leonys Martin asks for time, and he steps out of the batter's box as time has been granted. We're going to come back and do this all over again. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yamamoto gets the sign from his catcher. He's ready to go back to work. He comes set at the chest. He checks the runner at second. He checks him again, and he kicks and delivers. It is a fastball that misses down and away. And that is going to be ball 4 to Leonys Martin, and that is going to load the bases as Brandon Laird goes over to second and Sato is advanced over to third. And that is going to leave it up to Hisanori Yasuda with 2 out to see if he can do some damage. We got Aaron Farkas in the house. He says, just tuned in. It's awesome. We appreciate you being here. Hope you can stick around and stay for a while. We've got a number of people that are in the house that bounced in and out tonight. So the bases are loaded with 2 out here in the 3rd inning. They are full of Marines. Yamamoto is in his 2nd jam of the night. And so here comes the batter Yasuda, who's 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up, and the first pitch from Yamamoto is a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is 0-1. Yamamoto, of course, as we said, has got a power arm. He's been running the ball up to as much as 96 miles an hour tonight. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner, and the count goes even at 1. Ball and 1 strike. As we said, it's a beautiful day for baseball in Chiba. The only thing is that the Wind is blowing like crazy from left center field across the diamond. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and there is a split finger pitch that's down, but the home plate umpire says that the batter went. That is going to make the count 1-2 strikes. We'll like to get a look at that on the replay. The batter wasn't convinced. I'm not sure from the angle we had I was convinced either, but it really doesn't matter. The plate umpire is the one who matters. So 1-2 strikes to Yasuda. Yamamoto holds the ball at the chest. He checks the runners at second and third. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. And the count runs even now at 2-2. This is going to be the 60th pitch of the ball game for Yamamoto. As we said, his meter is going to be ticking. I think that they'll be disappointed if they can't get more than 5 innings out of their right-handed ace tonight. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count remains at 2-2. I've seen Yamamoto pitch before, and I will say this is not the sharp Yamamoto we're used to seeing. He is definitely not on his game tonight. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. He comes set at the chest. He kicks and he delivers, and it's a split finger pitch that is swung on and missed in the dirt. And that is going to retire Yasuda for the 3rd out of the inning. So for the Chiba Lotte Marines, they threaten, but they don't score. They strand the bases loaded. There was no runs. There were 2 hits. There were no errors, and 3 runners left the board. We're now through 3 complete innings. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 1, the Orix Buffaloes nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with the call of the top of the 4th inning. We're glad you could be here. Thanks for being with us, everybody. We're in the top of the 4th inning. The pitcher, the left-hander for Chiba, the starter Ojima, is completing his warm-up tosses. We'll be back in 30 seconds with the call. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the Orix Buffaloes batting order to face the left-hander Kazuya Ojima. Ojima has been sharp through his first 3 innings of work. He's only allowed 1 hit, and that was the double in the last inning to Kodai Sano. So he is going to be facing Masataka Yoshida, Yataro Sugimoto, and Rangel Ravello, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the Buffaloes batting order. And so here we go, ready to go back to work. And the thing about the 2 pitchers tonight, especially Ojima, he works at an electric fast pace. So Yoshida steps up to the plate. He's batting .255 on the season. He's got no homers and 7 RBIs. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses outside. And the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Ojima ready to go back to work. He comes set at the belt. He kicks and he delivers. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. And the count is now 1-1. Yoshida, who was the batting champion a couple of years ago in the Pacific League, he waits and there's a fastball that misses down and away. And the count is 2-1. He has one of the best eyes at the plate. He's very, very disciplined and he can put the ball in play regular. So here is the 2-1 pitch. It's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner. The count now goes to 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Yoshida. Ojima ready to go back to work, and he kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball that misses inside. And that's the second time today Yoshida has earned himself a walk, as he's drawn a base on balls here to lead off the fourth inning, and that's going to bring up Yutaro Sugimoto. For Sugimoto tonight, he is 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. He has really struggled this season. He entered tonight's affair batting 130 with a homer and 4 RBIs. As we said, his production is down by about 2/3 from last year at this point. But just as the power outage is to him, it's also to the Orix Buffaloes. It's been a tough 2022. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is 0-1. The Pacific League teams are really struggling to put balls into the seats in fair territory for home runs. So no balls and 1 strike to Sugimoto. The lefty Ojima holds at the belt, and he throws over to first base. Diving back in time is the base runner Yoshida. So here we go. We're ready to go again. Again, Ojima gets the side from his catcher. Here's the pitch to Sugimoto. It's a fastball that misses away, and the count is 1-1. That was a bad miss by the left-hander there. The catcher for the Chiba Lotte Marines, Sato, had set up inside underneath the hands of the hitter. And Ojima delivered the pitch, and it was well off the outside part of the plate. Gucci Rari in the house, he says, I need a lock. Or you might need some luck to get that lock. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that misses. The count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes. So we appreciate you checking back in as well tonight. We'll be back again on the air again tomorrow. Originally, I'd planned to do the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, but that game is a little later today, so we'll actually do that game tomorrow night. 10 o'clock Pacific time in North America, 1 a.m. Eastern, if you're around to listen in. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right field, but that is going to be caught by the center fielder, who moves well over to his left. And that is a nice job by Fujiwara to pull that one in, and that is going to be the first out of the inning. And that is going to bring up the designated hitter, Rangel Ravello. Ravello comes up to the plate. He is 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded to third his first time up. Ravello last year, when he played in the Dodgers organization, was having an outstanding year in AAA. He was caught in a numbers game. Of course, the Dodgers really didn't have a need for the right-handed hitter. Ojima ready to go to work. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. It's lined to third. A nice play by Edney Hechavarria to pull it off the turf. And Ravello's got to be talking to himself as he walks back to the dugout. He absolutely hit that one on the screws, but right to the glove of the third baseman, Hechavarria, who makes the catch. And that is going to retire Ravello for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up the center fielder, Shuhei Fukuda. For Fukuda, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He's grounded to first his first time up. Left-hander against the left-hander, and the pitch from Ojima is a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. Fukuda's average has slipped to 220. He's got no homers and a couple RBIs. He really chokes up here against the lefty Ojima, and Ojima steps off the mound, and we're going to do this all over again. We do appreciate everybody who is tuned in tonight and taking a listen into the call of our game. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. There's a breaking ball down. A very good block by the catcher, Sato, to keep the runner from advancing. So that's going to make the count 2 balls and no strikes. So Fukuda, he digs in at the plate. He's ready to face the lefty Ojima, who's ready to go back to work. Ojima does not work as fast from the stretch as he does from the windup. He takes his time methodically with the runner on base. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is 2-1. If I brought the stopwatch out and put it on Ojima, he's working much slower from the stretch position than he does from the windup. So here comes the 2-1 pitch. And the pitch is delivered. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded slowly to second. Fielded neatly by the second baseman, Fukuda. He flips it to Fujioka, covering at second. And that is going to do it. It is a fielder's choice. It is going to end the inning that erases Yoshida at second base. And so for the Orix Buffaloes, in their half of the fourth inning, there was no runs, there were no hits, no errors, and one runner left the board. We are now through 3.5 innings. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 1, the Orix Buffaloes nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with the call of the bottom of the fourth inning. We're glad you could be here. Hold tight. Here's another one of our Hall of Fame memories. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to the bottom of the fourth inning. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this. 1-0 for the Marines. We're glad you're with us. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Marines to face Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And that means it's going to be Edney Hechavarria, Fukuda, and Fujioka. And the first pitch delivered to Hechavarria is swung on. It's grounded to short. It's fielded neatly by the shortstop Kirbayashi. He throws to first. And just like that, with one pitch, there is one away here in the fourth inning. A ground out 6-3. And that'll be one way to keep the pitch count down for Yamamoto. Swing at the first pitch and roll it over. That's going to bring up the second baseman, Koki Fukuda. Fukuda tonight is 0 for 1. He's now 3 for 5 on the season. Here's the pitch from Yamamoto. It's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Fukuda grounded to second his first time up. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. Fukuda was one of those ones who was helping Yamamoto out. He swung at the first pitch he saw in his last at-bat, or his first at-bat, and rolled it over to the second baseman. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field. Moving back is the left fielder, Yoshida. He's going to make the catch. And that is going to retire Fukuda for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away. It's got a very similar pattern as it did in the second inning, where the 7, 8, and 9 hitters went very quietly, and that leaves it up to Yudai Fujioka. For Fujioka tonight, he struck out looking his first time up. He is 0 for 1 tonight. He is definitely not having a great start to his season. There's a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Fujioka's average has slipped to 120 on the season. Here comes the delivery from Yamamoto. It's a fastball that misses inside, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Yamamoto ready to go back to work. He rocks into the windup. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined over the head of the third baseman, Valera. That is going to get down for a base hit. It is a single for Fujioka. He is aboard, and that is going to bring up the top of the order, Akito Takabe. If I had to make a guess here, or if I was to make a prediction, I would think that on the first or the second pitch, I would have the shortstop Fujioka in motion here, or the base runner Fujioka in motion. If he gets thrown out at second base, you've got your leadoff hitter beginning the next inning. If he steals second, you've got your leadoff hitter in the top of the order trying to bang him in. So we'll keep an eye on the base runner here. And here comes the pitch from Yamamoto. It's a breaking ball. This ball swung on, is grounded through the 4-hole into right field. It's a base hit. Sugimoto picks it up. He comes up firing, but the base runner Fujioka is going to stop at second base. It's a base hit for Takabe. And Chiba has got something brewing here with 2 outs in the 4th inning. That's going to bring up the center fielder, Kyoto Fujiwara. Fujiwara tonight has been aboard twice. He reached on an error in the 1st inning, and he singled in the 3rd. So he's officially 1 for 2. So Fujiwara up to bat here. He's pulled his average up to 261. He's got nothing in the slash line other than 3 stolen bases. He takes a first pitch split finger down for a ball, and the count is 1-0. So Yamamoto was cruising in this inning, retiring the first 2 batters on 4 pitches, and now it's back-to-back singles. And the Marines have something brewing. So 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch from Yamamoto. It's a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. We're here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Chiba's holding a 1-0 lead over the Buffaloes. And one would think that Yamamoto, if he can get through 5, will he get through 6 is the question. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is now 1-2. My guess is because he's the ace of the staff, I would probably lean towards seeing him get it through at least 6 innings, assuming he still is only allowed the 1 run. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. Yamamoto holds at the chest. He checks the runner at second. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down and in. Count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Fujiwara. It is a festive crowd. As we said, it's a healthy crowd today in Chiba. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. Kicks and delivers. It's a split finger pitch, swung on and missed. It is held on by the catcher, Wakatsuki, as he shows the umpire, and that is going to do it here in the 4th inning for the Marines. So for Chiba, they threaten, but they do not score. There were no runs. There were 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 4 complete innings. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 1, the Orix Buffaloes nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. The call at the top of the 5th inning. We're glad you are with us. Hold tight, everybody. We'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the top half of the fifth inning. It is going to be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters coming to bat. It's going to be Kotaro Kobayashi, Ryo Ota, and Kenya Wakatsuki to face the left-hander Kazuya Ojima. Ojima is having a great start today so far. He's been very efficient in his 4 innings of work. He's only allowed 3 base runners, 1 hit, that is to Kodai Sano, and 2 walks to Masataka Yoshida, and that has been it. 49 pitches through his first 4 innings of work, and the first pitch he delivers is a fastball to Kotaro Kobayashi that backs him off the plate for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. He delivers again, and it's a fastball swung on, and it's lined right to the glove of the third baseman, Edney Hechavarria. Hechavarria has made 2 nice catches in a row, as the balls have kind of gone right to him, or found him, I should say. So that is the first out, and that is going to bring up Ryo Ota. For Ota tonight, he is 0 for 1. He popped to second his first time up. And the first pitch delivered from Ojima is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Ojima ready to go back to work. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded slowly to short. It's fielded neatly by Fujioka. He throws it. It's up the line, and he is safe at first base. The umpire has signaled that the first baseman had come off the bag. Fujioka fielded it, and he threw it to the whole plate side of first base. They pulled the first baseman, Yasuda, off of the base. Now, Yasuda thought he applied the tag, and we're going to maybe catch this again on the replay to see if he got him. But I don't think he did. We're going to go and look again on the replay here. I think he missed them, although he tried to sell the call. The plate umpire says no, so that's going to go down as an error to the shortstop. And that is going to bring up the catcher, Kenya Wakatsuki. So the normally sure-handed and smooth fielding shortstop, Yudai Fujioka, unable to make that play, and that's going to bring up Wakatsuki. His average has slipped to 0.50 on the season. Ojima flips it over to first base, and diving back in time is Oda. So Wakatsuki digs himself in. Left-hander Ojima gets ready to go back to work. He holds set at the belt, and again he throws over to first base, and again diving back in time is Oda. It's the first error made by the Buffaloes tonight, so each team has now officially 1 in the books. The other error in the first inning was made by the pitcher Yamamoto. The Buffaloes, who threw a ball down the right field line on a comebacker. So here comes the first pitch to Wakatsuki. Ojima kicks and delivers. It's a fastball, and it is missed outside for ball 1. The count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Wakatsuki. He's the 9-hole hitter, so waiting on deck is the leadoff man, Kodai Sano. So Ojima gets himself ready to go back to work. He's on the rubber. He gets the sign from his catcher, and now he comes set. And again, he throws over to first base, and again diving back in time is the base runner Oda. Yamamoto is up and throwing in front of the Buffaloes dugout, keeping himself loose, ready to come back into the ball game. So 1 ball and no strikes to Wakatsuki. Oda is the runner at first with 1 away, and again they throw to first, and again diving back is Oda. They are concerned about Oda for some reason. He doesn't have a stolen base this year. He does move well, but he is looking to open up his account for the stolen bases. Last season, Oda had one to his credit, so he's only got one in the course of his career. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Wakatsuki, who got the start tonight, is taking care of his ace pitcher Yamamoto. But he is definitely struggling at the plate. Only 1 hit in 20 at-bats this year. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. Its tap foul at home plate. The count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. The runner Oda was off to the races on that pitch, so their concerns appear to be right. He was in motion. So one would assume they're trying to stay out of the double play, at least to get him into scoring position. Would have been curious to know maybe why they wouldn't have chosen to bunt. Some teams, even with 1 out, would bunt their lower players to try to advance the base runners along. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into left field, and it is juggled by the left fielder Takabe. But he's able to pick it up, and that's still going to keep the base runner Oda at second. That is a single for Wakatsuki, his second hit of the season. That's going to bring up the top of the order, Kodai Sano. For Sano tonight, he is 1 for 2. He doubled his last time up, and he has flown to left field. So that is only the second hit of the ball game for the Orix Buffaloes. It's going to bring the catcher out to the mound as Sato has made the trip out to talk to Ojima. So the Buffaloes have something brewing here in the top of the 5th inning. The base runner, Oda, is at second. Wakatsuki is the runner at first. And brings up Sano to the plate. Sano is 4 for 9 on the season with a homer and 2 RBIs. And Ojima fakes the throw to second base, and getting back easily is the base runner, Oda. Just as they were concerned about Oda going from first to second, it appears their concerns of Oda going from second to third may be justified as well. So here comes the pitch, and it is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes to Sano. And Ojima has really slowed himself down as we said, for a fellow who works extremely quickly when there is no runners on base. He is very methodical when there are runners on base. So 1 ball and no strikes. He gets the sign from his catcher Sato, and he's ready to go back to work. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball. Take it for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. The third baseman, Breivik Valera, is waiting his turn on deck. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Sano ready to go back into the batter's box. He digs himself in. The left-hander Ojima is ready to go back to work. He holds at the belt. He kicks and he delivers. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is belted to deep left field. Going back onto the warning track and looking up, and it is gone. A home run for Sano, his second of the year. And the Buffaloes have taken the lead on a 3-run shot by Kodai Sano here in the top of the 5th inning. So take that, Chiba, and your wins, because the winds have been blowing in, and that ball got out in a hurry. It was on a line, and there's all smiles in the Buffaloes dugout. And the biggest smile is that of their starter, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who was pitching from behind. A 3-run shot by Sano. His second hit of the ball game and second extra base hit of the game has now put the Buffaloes on top 3-1. Only 2 of those runs would have been earned. So here comes the first pitch. It is a fastball up around the eyeballs and backs Valera off of the plate. And that is ball one. I don't think Valera is very happy about that one. So you got a home run delivered, and then the pitcher comes up and in with some chin music. So here comes the 1-0 pitch, and there's a fastball that misses away, and the count's now 2-0. It's a little old school baseball there from Ojima. Guy hits a home run, and the next batter gets to get a baseball whistling under his nose, and there's a fastball that is delivered. They appeal down to the first base umpire, but they say Valera didn't go. The count is now 3-0. Valera is 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded out to the first baseman, and then he grounded to short his last time up. So here comes the pitch. It's a fastball. Take it for a called strike, and the count is 3-1. Angel Monster in the house says, got 140 on Orix. If you would have asked me before the game, I would have been singing Orix for sure, and I was a little concerned there. There's a fastball swung on. This is lifted into right field. Moving over underneath it is the right fielder, Martin, and he's going to make the catch. That is going to retire Valera for the second out of the inning. That is going to leave it up to the left fielder, Masataka Yoshida. For Yoshida tonight, he has been on base twice. He has walked each of his times to the plate. He's hitting .255 on the season with no homers and 7 RBIs. So the Buffaloes have now jumped out into the lead here with that 3-run shot by Sano. And here's the pitch. It's a fastball delivered for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Yoshida. So this is the first sign of adversity that Ojima had, and it was started by the error by the shortstop, Fujioka. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. The count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Yoshida stands at the plate, ready for the offering from Ojima. Kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded slowly to second. It's fielded neatly by Fukuda. He throws to first. And that will retire Yoshida on a ground out, 4-3 for the third out here in the 5th inning. But the damage has been done. The error by Yudai Fujioka got the ball rolling in the wrong direction for the Marines, but it did wonders for the Buffaloes. The Buffaloes had 3 runs in the inning. There were 2 hits, including the home run by Kodai Sano. There was 1 error and nobody left on base. But through 4.5, it is the Orix Buffaloes 3, the Chiba Lotte Marines 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with the call at the bottom of the 5th inning. We're glad you're with us. Here's our friend Steve.
Domo arigato. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm new at this. Thank you for watching Last Raps Baseball. Tell all your friends and family to come check him out, ask some questions during the telecast, and give him a good sub and a thumbs up. And this is Steve coming back at you, and some new things on my channel. Star Wars figures that everybody likes. We have Mad magazines from the 1970s. We try to avoid the Noid. And for your pleasure, once in a while, we can open up Michael Jackson if you want, the cards. We have Elvis. We have Sadahar O. We love everything that is everything, so we even have the Beatles fighting with lightsabers. Look at that, John and George. Once in a while, we'll even have my brother take over my channel on a Tuesday. So once again, everybody tell your friends, come see Freddie at Last Raps Baseball. And right now, I'm going to kick it right back to you, Freddie.
Thanks again, Steve. We appreciate you and your support of the channel. And here we go back to the action as we're entering the bottom of the 5th inning, and the first pitch from Yamamoto is delivered to Toshiya Sato, and it's a breaking ball that misses outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. Yamamoto ready to go back to work. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-1. It is Sato, Laird, and Martin here in the bottom of the 5th for Chiba. It is a 3-1 ball game as the Buffaloes on that 3-run homer by Sano in the last inning have now taken the lead over the Marines. And here comes the 3-1 pitch. It's a fastball that misses outside. And the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Sato. Yamamoto ready to go back into the windup. He rocks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 3-1. 74 pitches for the Orix ace through 4 innings. So this game is far from over as it's going to get into the battle of the bullpens eventually here. And there's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count now goes to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yamamoto ready to go back to work. He rocks into the motion. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that just misses low. And Sato is going to get himself a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 5th inning. That is going to bring up the designated hitter, Brandon Laird. For Brandon Laird tonight, he is 1 for 1. He has a walk in the 1st inning and he singled in the 3rd. So he is starting to heat up as the weather is starting to get better. So the runner at first is Sato with nobody gone. And Laird is stepping up to the plate. He's got his average now up to 273. He's got that 1 homer and the 6 RBIs. So Laird digs in on the right side, ready to face the right-hander Yamamoto. Yamamoto holds at the chest. And he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike at the knees. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Laird steps out of the box and he gets himself back in. He's got red batting gloves, a red elbow guard, and a red shin guard. Stands out like a sore thumb with the black uniforms with the white pants and the black striped piping down the side. They throw over to first base and diving back in time is the base runner Sato. Laird will be followed by the right fielder Leonis Martin. The manager Iguchi's got them back to back in the batting order tonight. There's a breaking ball that swung on and tapped foul, and the count is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Laird, who's enjoying himself in Japan, he's been there for quite a few years now. He started his career with the Hokkaido nippon-ham fighters. And he's made his way to Chiba. He's been in the NPB since 2015, so this is his 4th season with Chiba, which is equaled the amount of time that he spent with the ham fighters. And there's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and that is going to retire Laird for the first out of the inning. And he is gone for out number 1, but just to finish off on Laird, he is in his 4th season with Chiba, and as we said, he was 4 seasons with the Hokkaido nippon-ham fighters. He's enjoyed himself a fine career in the NPB. That brings up Leonis Martin. Martin tonight is officially got no at-bats. He has a sacrifice fly and an RBI, and he walked his last time up. He's still hitting 162 on the season with a homer and 3 RBIs, and he swings at the first pitch. He pops it up, coming hard over towards the stands, and that ball is going to blow into the stands, off the top of the dugout and into the stands. That's what we're talking about here. That ball was popped up, but it was a very fortunate situation for Martin as the wind is coming hard from left center field in. The flags are straight away blowing in. And that was able to take the ball into the seats as the first baseman Sato had no chance to get it once the wind got its teeth into it. So that's no balls and 1 strike to Martin. Yamamoto ready to go back to work. He holds at the chest. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and Leonis Martin falls backwards right onto the seat of his pants. It certainly wasn't a pitch where he I think he made it more theatrical than what it was. It certainly wasn't inside. He kind of has a little bit of a grin on his face. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. Yamamoto delivers. It's a fastball swung, and this ball is drilled into right center field, and this ball is going to get down. It's off the wall. It's fielded by the center fielder, Fukuda. He fires it in. Here comes the play at the plate, and it is in time, and they are going to tag out the runner, Sato, who was trying to score all the way from first base. It was an absolute bullet. It was a good job on the relay throw. We'll get the details for you on that one. The base runner, Sato, had actually slid past the plate. And as he slid past the plate, he tried to slap the plate on a flop slide and tag it. But as we see it here, it was ball that was smoked on, one hop off the wall. The center fielder picks it up. He fired it into the second baseman. The second baseman on two hops fired it to the plate. Nice job by the catcher, Wakatsuki, to be able to get back up and apply the tag, but that's going to go down as a putout to 8-4-2 for out number 2. It is a double by Leonis Martin, and he is at second base. And that is going to bring up Hisanori Yasuda. So we got a little bit of action going on here as Chiba tried to cut one back. But some nice defense by the Buffaloes. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0 to Hisanori Yasuda. Yasuda tonight is 0 for 2. He has struck out his both times to the plate. So 1 ball and no strikes to Yasuda. Yamamoto checks the runner at second, and he drops a breaking ball in for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. Yasuda entered the game hitting .294 tonight, but the 2 strikeouts have taken his average back a little bit. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. Martin jockeying at second base with Yamamoto. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yamamoto has settled down a little bit after that real rocky first inning, where he allowed a run, and then he had a bit of a bump in the third inning as well. That's what's really shot his pitch counts up, as his is going to be pitch number 90 of the ball game. And here comes the 1-2, and it's a fastball that backs the hitter Yasuda off of the plate, and that evens the count at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. The Buffaloes have jumped on top there in the top of the 5th. So here comes the 3-1 pitch. It's a fastball that misses just down. Boy, did Yamamoto really want that pitch. I'm not sure where that is. There's a little bit of home cooking. I got to give the credit to the catcher. Wakatsuki really did a great job of getting underneath that pitch, but he was not able to earn the call for a strike. I'm not sure what more you had to do to be able to do that. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. Yamamoto checks Martin at second. He kicks and he delivers. It's a split figure pitch. It misses down, and that is going to be ball 4. And Yasuda is aboard with a walk, and that's going to bring up Edney Hechavarria. That's where things can get really frustrating with the officials. We got Josh in the house tonight. Welcome back, Josh. Appreciate you being here. Josh has asked some questions in the past about what nuances there are in the NPB, and I know there's some things that I've been tossing out since you've asked that question. They don't always come to mind. That was a few streams ago. I'll give you a couple more here. And then we've got Leo Espida coming in with his spam on Twitch. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. I say that because we have the YouTube viewers who are watching us. We are streaming on Twitch as well. Every once in a while, we get somebody coming in and dropping their spam in here. So no balls and one strike to Hechavarria. Hechavarria tonight is 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded to short. There's a split finger pitch swung on. It's grounded slowly to second. It's fielded neatly by the second baseman, Oda. He throws to first. And Hechavarria is retired for out number 3 here in the 5th inning. So for the Chiba Lotte Marines, they had no runs. There was 1 hit. There were no errors and 2 runners left the board. We're now through 5. It is the proverbial Japanese halftime. I'll be back in a minute, and we'll give you the out-of-town scoreboard, as well as we'll talk a little bit about some of the nuances that are different about Japanese baseball and what you witness in North America. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, and it is a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. There are 3 other games going on across the NPB. There's 1 game that's been postponed and another game that has a later start tonight. In the Pacific League, the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles are ahead of the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. It is a 5-3 ball game. That game is in the bottom of the 5th inning. Right now, there have been 2 homers in the ball game for the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. Simatani has homered tonight. For the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters, Manami has homered tonight. That is a 5-3 ball game. In the Central League, the Yomiuri Giants have a 2-1 lead over the Tokyo Yakult Swallows. It's a crosstown rivalry game. That ball game there, Shiomi has homered for Yakult. Oshiro has homered for the Yomiuri Giants. Matt Shoemaker, former Toronto Blue Jay, Minnesota Twin, Los Angeles Angel, is making his NPB debut tonight. He's gone 5 1/3 so far, only allowing 3 hits, 1 run earned. He's walked 1 and struck out 5. We hope Shoemaker can stay healthy. And the Hiroshima Toyo Carp are beating up on the Hanshin Tigers 6-1. Hiroshima has some extra base hits by Dobayashi and Morishita. Morishita is the pitcher. He has driven in 4 of the 6 runs tonight, that young ace for the Carp. They have a big-time 6-1 lead over the Hanshin Tigers. That is the way it is going right now. So there's your out-of-town scoreboard. The game between Shinichi and Yokohama has been postponed because of an outbreak of COVID by the Bay Stars. The Fukuoka Cebu game will go later tonight. So just a couple of things. We're talking about different rules and rule changes in Japan. And one of the rule changes that we were talking about, or different nuances, I guess, maybe to the game, is the pitcher warm-up. Pitchers are permitted to warm up in foul territory while their team is at bat. We see that regularly. Usually when there's 2 out, the pitchers will pop up and start playing catch in front of the dugout. That is something that is a little bit unique. There's also something that's kind of neat. They have the balk rule is a 3-second rule. So pitchers have to hold the pitch, or have to hold for 3 seconds, or at least 3 seconds before coming to the plate. So in North America, there used to be a term in the rule book called a discernible stop. That was taken out a few years ago, that they just said he has to come to a stop. And of course, some of the pitchers, they hold for 1 or 2 or 3 seconds or 4, and then an attempt to freeze the base runners. Well, in Japan, you have to hold it for a minimum of 3 seconds. That is the way that they operate. So it's kind of strange, a little bit different. That is how things go in Japan as opposed to in North America. So those are a couple of things. We'll talk about some more of those rules a little bit later. But coming up to bat, it is going to be the heart of the Orix batting order. It's going to be Yutaro Sugimoto, Rangel Ravelo, and Shuhei Fukuda. This is going to be 4, 5, and 6 coming to bat here. So Sugimoto steps up. He's 0 for 2 tonight. A strikeout and a flyout to center field. And here's the first pitch. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Josh asks the question, does the NPB have a DH? Yes, in the Pacific League, the league that we are calling here tonight, there is a DH, and there's a fastball swung on. This is popped up on the right side of the infield, moving over and making a very routine catch difficult is Hisanori Yasuda. And that is going to retire Sugimoto. Now, mind you, it is a difficult night tonight with the amount of wind. So to be fair, it has been challenging for the fielders. That is the first out. In the NPB, because you have 2 leagues, you got the Pacific League and the Central League. The Pacific League has the designated hitter. The Central League does not. So the pitcher tonight, Morishita, for the Carp, has driven in 4 of the 6 runs. So he is off to work at both on the mound and at the plate. There's a first pitch delivered to Rangel Ravelo, taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Ravelo tonight is 0 for 2, and he swings and taps a grounder slowly to first. It's fielded by the first baseman, Yasuda. He's going to take it himself. It's going to go down as a ground out to 3 for the second out of the inning. With 2 up, there's 2 away, and that's going to bring up the center fielder, Shuhei Fukuda. So Fukuda tonight is 0 for 2. He's grounded to third, and he bounced into a fielder's choice to end the 4th inning. So he steps up to the plate. And just as we were talking about pitchers throwing in front of the dugout, right on cue is Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And he is up throwing in front of the Orix dugout. So the count is 0-1, Fukuda. One would anticipate that this could be the last inning that we'll see Yamamoto coming out, as his pitch count is starting to climb the ladder. Ojima, on the other hand, he has got his count up to 74 pitches, and here's the 1-1 pitch, the fastball that misses off the outside corner, and the count goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to the center fielder Fukuda. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 3-1. Only 3 hits allowed by Ojima, but the big blow was the 3-run homer by Sano in the 5th inning. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is smashed past the diving first baseman Yasuda. Ball's going to get into right field, and that is going to be a base hit. Fukuda is aboard with a single, and that's going to bring up the shortstop Kotaro Kobayashi. For Kobayashi tonight, he is officially 0 for 2. He's flown out to center, and he's lined out to third. So Kobayashi is coming to the plate, and he is 0 for 2 right now. And as we get back to the action, Ojima just flips it over to first. And Fukuda's diving back. So Kotaro Kobayashi steps up to the plate. He's having himself a rough start to the early part of the season. The young shortstop waits on the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded slowly to short. It's fielded by Fujioka. He flips it over to second, and that is going to retire Fukuda. It goes down as a fielder's choice, 6-4. And that is going to do it here in the 6th inning for that as well. And I'll be back in just a minute as I see we have some questions in the chat and some comments. We're glad you guys are with us at the board. We are now through 5.5 innings. It is the Orix Buffaloes 3, the Chiba Lotte Marines 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment with my thoughts and comments. We're glad you are with us. Hold tight. Would you like to support Last Drafts Baseball? We would appreciate it if you did. Be sure to check out our eBay page where we have baseball merchandise. We also have stuff from the Japanese League for those who listen from Japan, but we also do other sports like football and basketball as well. Don't forget, visit Last Drafts Baseball's eBay store to help support the channel. We'll be glad you did. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom half of the 6th inning. It's going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming up for Chiba. That's going to be Koki Fukuda, Yudai Fujioka, and Akito Takabe. And so with that being said, we got some talk in the chat. John says he's had a hard time syncing up the YouTube stream with the video stream. That happens sometimes, to be able to match that up a little bit if you can get the video where you're at. But we're happy that you're here, John. So we've got the line for the first 5 innings. A little bit surprising that the Buffaloes, in my opinion, that really went a little sideways when the shortstop Fukuda made that error, and then it started to go a little sideways for the defense of the Marines that inning. And of course, that's been where we're at, where they capitalized. So it's 3-1, obviously, is the score. Vivid Life says, do we think the Hawks can take the Lions tonight? I do. I don't think the Lions are playing very good baseball right now. I mean, granted, any night it can always turn, but I don't really like the way the Lions played during the week. There's the first pitch delivered from Yamamoto to Fukuda. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. It's down the left field line, and the count is 0-1. Fukuda is 0 for 2 tonight. He's 2 for 6 now on the young season. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. And there's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to third. It's juggled by the third baseman, Valera. As he does the juggling act, he comes up with it and throws to first. That is going to retire Fukuda on a ground out 5-3. It was a good job by Valera to stay with it. He did have a smile and a little chuckle after he made the play. That is some luck for him, too. He had 1, 2, 3 times he had to touch it and then threw it on the in-between steps. And that is going to retire Fukuda for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up the shortstop Yudai Fujioka, and Fujioka takes a breaking ball outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So as back to Vivid Life, yeah, I think the Hawks will take the Lions. Cardona says he thought his odds were dead. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 94 pitches after 5 innings for Yamamoto. He's up to 98 right now. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 3-0. Vivid Life says, I'm also hoping that the Swallows will get ahead on the Giants here. That's tough tonight. I don't know about that one. And there's a fastball that misses up and away, and Fujioka has got himself a base on balls. And that's the second time he has reached base tonight. It's going to bring up Akito Takabe. Takabe tonight has had the number of Yamamoto, and that's going to bring the pitching coach out for a conference on the hill. Takabe is 2 for 3 tonight. He's got 2 singles and a run scored. So they're going to go out and talk to Yamamoto for a moment here before they make some decisions. But the Murray Giants sent Matt Shoemaker to the hill tonight, and he's giving them everything they wanted in a import start. Shoemaker, of course, as we said, was with the Angels, the Blue Jays, and the Twins. He's had some good moments in Major League Baseball, has Shoemaker. Shoemaker was Very good with the Angels one year. I believe he won 15 ball games. I'd have to go back and take a look. And then he ended up blowing up his knee, and he's done it a couple of times. Hurt himself, had his shoulder. So he's not the same pitcher. He wasn't the same pitcher last year with the Twins. There's a fastball. It's bunted, and it's bunted foul over on the third base side. The count is 0-1 to Takabe. And that did not look like a sacrifice. That was definitely a push bunt down the third base line. So I think the Swallows are in tough tonight there, Vivid Life. Hate to tell you. John Cardona says, thanks, man. I appreciate what you do. Yeah, some of those plays just before the home run really got you lucky. And there's a fastball that swung on and missed. And the count is now 0-2 to Takabe. So no balls and 2 strikes. Of course, Vivid Life says he likes the optimism toward the Hawks. Hawks are playing very good baseball right now. They've only got 1 loss in their 11 games. They are rolling for sure. I like the way that matches up for them. So here comes the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to short. Over to second for 1. Back to first, but they're not going to throw over as it's not going to be in time. They ends up being a fielder's choice. That's a fielder's choice at 6-4 that will erase Fujioka for the second out of the inning. Takabe's got some decent wheels, so he is aboard with that fielder's choice. That's going to leave it all up to Kyoto Fujiwara. For Fujiwara, he is 1 for 3 tonight. He has been on base twice. He reached on the error by the pitcher in the first inning. He also had a single in the third, and he struck out back in the fourth. He's pulled his average up to 250 this season with the knock earlier today. And here comes the pitch. He squares the bunt, and that ball's down in the dirt. Again, it more looked like a push bunt than it was anything else. I think they're going to maybe test Valera a little bit over at third base there. So 1 ball and no strikes to Fujiwara. We appreciate everybody who has checked in tonight with us. We thank you for being here. We always ask people when they're new to the stream where they're from. Usually ask people, and we get different ones. Obviously, we had Josh in here earlier. He's from St. Louis. We've got a break in the action here as the umpires are going to take a look at the VAR. I think they're going to take a look because from what I can tell here, it's got to be the pitch to Fujiwara. They're going to take a look to see if it hit him or not. He looks like he pulls away. He thinks he got hit by the pitch on his left foot as he had squared the bunt. We're getting the replay on that, and I think they're going to have a case. I think what's going to happen is he's going to get the base. Oh, our friend Vivid Life is from Flint, Michigan. Well, I have to tell you, Vivid Life, we thank you for being here. Flint, Michigan, I didn't grow up all that far away from where you are at. And the one thing was, I believe, is Flint, Michigan. I don't know what your water situation is like, but they had a problem. But they are also known for their basketball talents. And the Flintstones, the guys who came out of that area, like Mateen Cleaves, who went to Michigan State. I think Morris Peterson was from Flint. So from the great state in the Great Lakes state of Michigan, we have another fella in here, Troy. He was in earlier on. He is also there. And here come the umpires. And they rule that it was a hit by pitch, and he is going to be awarded first base. And so Fujiwara did get hit on the foot. So his complaints were accepted, and they did look on the VAR, and now we got runners on first and second, and that's going to bring up Toshiya Sato. And Josh said he for sure got hit. Yes, he did. And I think if I remember correctly, Josh is from St. Louis, Missouri, or in that area, I should say, in that St. Louis area. So here comes Toshiya Sato. He's ready to come to bat, and the first pitch is a split finger down. The count is 1-0. For Sato tonight, he is officially 0 for 2. He struck out in the first. He bounced into a fielder's choice, and he walked his last time up. Josh asked that question, and that's the same thing I asked. I don't think they did get their water figured out. So here comes the ace dugout, and the count goes to 1-1. That was pitch number 106 by Yamamoto. It's a really, really unfortunate situation. Also, too, I believe the Flint had, I want to say it was General Motors pulled out of Flint. They used to have a lot of automobile plants there, and GM was shutting their plants down. I don't know if there's anything left in regards to that in Flint. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-2. Vivid Life says some areas are better off than others right now. It's really unfortunate that here we are in 2022 and we're worried about fresh water in North America in certain places. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. And it is a fastball that misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-2. Vivid Life says we still have GM here. They have just extremely limited the hiring there. Yeah, I can imagine that. General Motors, certainly the big three all over the state, whether it be Ford, Chrysler, or GM, is not the same as what it used to be, not even close to that 30, 40 years ago. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and that is going to retire Sato for out number 3 here in the 6th inning. And I wonder if that's going to do it for Yamamoto. So there were no runs in the inning. There were no hits. There were no errors, and there were 2 runners left aboard. In the ball game tonight, that is 11 base runners stranded by Chiba through the first 6 innings of play. So that ought to tell you right now that Chiba's squandering a lot of stuff. So we're now through the 6 innings here. It is a 3-1 ball game for the Orix Buffaloes. We'll be right back in a couple minutes, everybody. We appreciate you guys being here. Hang tight. We'll be right back in just a moment after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the top of the 7th inning, and the left-hander for the Chiba Lotte Marines, Kazuya Ojima, is still on the bump. He's going to be facing the 8, 9, and 1 hitters from the Buffaloes. Ryo Oda, Kenya Wakatsuki, and Kodai Sano are all coming to bat. And it is going to be Oda who steps in here, and the first pitch to him is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. John says that he's extremely curious and upset to hear about the water situation in Michigan. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and that count is 0-2. This is really not a new situation, John. It's gone on for a number of years, and I've been out of the area for about 14 years. And so I would say it's at least a 10-year-old problem, if not more. And they can't get that figured out. And there is a changeup that is swung on and missed. And Oda is retired on strikes for out number 1 here in the 7th inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that is going to bring up Kenya Wakatsuki. For Wakatsuki, he is 1 for 2 tonight. He singled and scored a run in the 5th inning. And the home run by Sano, and he is also flown out to center field. So that's the first thing that I was going to say, is that it's extremely unfortunate for those of you who may or may not have been in the Detroit area or know much about the Detroit area. The downtown area is still suffering from all the way back to the 67 riots. There's a breaking ball that is taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. And I say that, and it's interesting about what has happened in downtown Detroit. You think of some of the buildings that are down there, especially in southwest Detroit. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count is 0-2. The interesting part about the buildings in downtown Detroit is that they would just leave them abandoned and leave them up because it would cost more money to tear it down than it would be to tear it down and to replace it, or to make it a level, make it a field or a parking lot or anything. So here's the 0-2 pitch. It's a fastball that misses off the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-2. I remember specifically Old Tiger Stadium when it closed in 1999. It was literally about 10 years after it had closed. It was still standing there. It was dilapidated, let to be run down, but they never tore it down because they couldn't afford to do it. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2 still. Old Tiger Stadium used to drive by on the freeway when we were getting over toward I-75 North. You'd go by it all the time and see the iconic building right there, and there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Wakatsuki is retired for the second out of the inning via strikeout. That is going to bring up the top of the order, Kodai Sano, who has done all the damage so far today for the Buffaloes. It was Sano's 3-run blow in the 5th inning that have the Buffaloes up on top here. And John says, he knows it's not new, and that's what makes him even more upset. And I know, I feel you. There's a fastball that misses down to Sano, and the count is 1-0. Sano today is 2 for 3. He's homered, he's doubled, and he's flown to left. Our friend Josh, who was in here earlier, and there's a ground ball that's hit to second. It's fielded neatly by the second baseman, Fukuda, who had a range to his right. He throws to first, and that is going to do it. It's a ground out, 4-3 for out number 3. And that will do it here for the Buffaloes in their half of the 7th inning. They got no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. After 6.5, it is 3-1 for the Buffaloes. Last little piece to this is Josh had a question earlier on about nuances and changes. Looks like we're going to see Yamamoto for another inning, and he's only up to 107 pitches or some darn thing. So that's something you don't see so much in Major League Baseball, guys that are going over 100 pitches. I'll be right back, everybody, in just a minute. And we'll carry on with some of our social discussions as well as our call of the game. We appreciate you guys being here. We do thank you for listening in tonight. Welcome back, everybody. We appreciate y'all being here. John Cardona says the media reported the problem is fixed, as we were talking about the Flint water situation. I think the key word is fixed in quotations, and that's not the result. It is probably what is of everything else. So, John Cardona, you've got it right on the, you nailed it right on the head. So here we go. After 6 innings, it's 109 pitches for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And he is coming out to pitch the 7th inning. So he's going to be back at it again. Unbelievable. As I say, you don't see this in Major League Baseball. Usually the pitchers are gone by the time they're into the 80s and 90s these days. But not in Japanese baseball. I've seen pitchers go 120 plus pitches in early parts of the ball game, and to be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with it. If you can continue to throw and do what you have to do, why not? So here comes Brandon Laird to the plate. Laird tonight is 1 for 2. He's also drawn a walk. And he steps in here. And here comes the first pitch. It is a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. Yeah, John says it should be an automatic pitching change, but truthfully speaking, it's not unfortunately, it's just the way it kind of is. There's a breaking ball that misses down in the way, and the count is 2-0. You really don't have the resources. I would say in my world, or at least in our world of North American baseball, the Major League Baseball, what has changed the game most, people will say analytics, people will say it's different things related to the analytics of baseball, and I say it's the agents. Players are playing for their stats. They're playing for their contracts based on certain stats. And there is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field, moving back onto the warning track, and this one is going to sail into the seats. And Brandon Laird has got one run back for the Chiba Lotte Marines on a leadoff home run here in the 7th inning. And that ball has left the yard in a hurry. And the score is now 3-2. So as he crosses the plate, he gets his high fives, and that is going to bring up Leonis Martin. Josh says he remembers watching Charlie LaDuff videos from Detroit. He says, pretty funny. I have to confess, I'm not sure I know Charlie LaDuff. You'd have to jog my memory on that one. So Brandon Laird has hit the home run, and as he hits the home run, he's holding up a sign to everybody as he gets it. That's his 200th career NPB home run. He gets a standing ovation. That's kind of funny. They hand him the sign and he holds it up. Brandon Laird, home run number 200 of his NPB career. And that ball got out in a hurry. So that's going to bring up Leonis Martin. Leonis Martin steps up to a walk and a sac fly, and the first pitch is a fastball. It's fouled away, and the count is 0-1. So there's no sign of taking Yamamoto out. He's up to 113 pitches now. I'd be curious to see. We sometimes get the action in the bullpen. There's a little different here as the bullpens are down the lines. There's a full fastball swung on. It's tapped slowly to the pitcher. Yamamoto fields it, and he's going to apply the tag to the base runner, Martin. It's going to go as a ground out to 1 for the first out of the inning. John Cardona says the dumbest stat in Major League Baseball is pitcher wins. Nobody should care about anything about ERA or whatever it takes to win games. One of the stats that I personally look for, I mean, I don't even look for some of the stuff that's on the back of the baseball card that's important to me. There's a fastball delivered for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Hisanori Yasuda. Yasuda is 0 for 2 tonight. He's got 2 strikeouts and a walk. And here comes the pitch. It is a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count is 1-1. Things that are important to me from a pitcher standpoint, the number one thing is strike to ball ratio. That is very important to me. I like to see, can the pitchers throw strikes? There's a breaking ball delivered for a called strike, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Yasuda. Second thing I look for is first pitch strikes. Can they get ahead in the count? So ball to strike ratio, getting ahead in the count, those are important to me. And usually, if you can have success there, it's going to help you have success just generally as a pitcher. There's a fastball that was swung on and missed by Yasuda, and so now he has the distinction of having the sombrero tonight. As that is the 3rd time tonight he has gone down on strikes. And that is going to leave it up to the... Josh says, I believe he was... I have to admit, there's a breaking ball that misses inside, and the count is 1-0. It's because we preferred the anchors of Mort Krim and Carmen Harlan, and there's a fastball swung on. This ball is driven into deep right center field. This ball is going to get down and off the wall. Digging for two is Hechavarria, and he is going to make it standing up, and he's got himself a double with two away here in the seventh inning. That is going to bring up the second baseman, Koki Fukuda. John says he just wants to make it clear that ERA is important and pitcher wins are not. I agree with you on that one too, John. ERA is important. I also think that WHIP is important too, the WHIP being the walks plus the hits divided by the innings pitched. I like to see a low WHIP. If you've got a low WHIP, you've probably got yourself in a position that your ERA is going to follow because you're keeping the runners off base. Again, that's just something that I prefer. So here comes the batter Fukuda to the plate. He is 0 for 3 tonight. He's grounded out twice and flown out to left. There's a fastball that misses down and away. The count is 1-0, and our friend John is probably going to cringe when I tell him that's pitch number 121 from Yamamoto. And he's just probably warming up tonight. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. And he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to second. It's fielded by the second baseman, Oda. He throws to first, and that's going to retire Fukuda on a ground out, 4-3 for out number 3. And that is going to do it. But the Marines get one back here in the half of the seventh inning. They had one run. There was 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 runner left aboard. And again, that is the 12th runner that they have left on base has Chiba tonight. We are now through 7 complete, and it does look like we're going to have a pitching change, so we'll get that when we come back. It is a 3-2 ball game as we move to the 8th inning. Thanks for being with us here tonight, everybody. Here's our friend Steve Rademacher. Check out his channel after the game. Give him a shot here and right now.
Sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm new at this. Thank you for watching Last Raps Baseball. Tell all your friends and family to come check him out, ask some questions during the telecast, and give him a good sub and a thumbs up. And this is Steve coming back at you, and some new things on my channel. Star Wars figures that everybody likes. We have Mad magazines from the 1970s. We try to avoid the Noid. And for your pleasure, once in a while, we can open up Michael Jackson if you want, the cards. We have Elvis. We have Sadahar O. We love everything that is everything, so we even have the Beatles fighting with lightsabers. Look at that, John and George. Once in a while, we'll even have my brother take over my channel on a Tuesday. So once again, everybody tell your friends, come see Freddie at Last Raps Baseball. And right now, I'm going to kick it right back to you, Freddie.
Appreciate you, Steve. We are now moving to the top of the 8th inning, and it is a pitching change for the Marines. It is going to be Shota Suzuki coming into the ball game. The left-hander is now taking over on the hill for the Marines of the other left-hander who got the start. So Suzuki will be taking over here. We'll get you some of his specs in just a moment as he is now completing his warm-up tosses. Our friend John in the chat asked, do they have more rest between starts? Most teams in the NPB employ a 6-man rotation. And so typically speaking, what they do is in the 6-man rotation, they do get that. Obviously, they are designated. Yamamoto is typically the Friday starter for the Buffaloes. So when you turn on the game on Friday, he is usually the one who's going to be out there pitching. And so that's kind of how that works. So yeah, you get 6 days of rest on the in-between. So they have a little bit different. So that does play a little bit of a factor. So Suzuki enters the game. This is going to be his 3rd appearance of the year. He is 0-2. He's worked an inning, a third. He's allowed 3 hits. He has got 1 strikeout so far this year. He has allowed 3 walks. So he has been roughed up a little bit. So here he goes to work, and the first pitch is a fastball delivered to Yudai Fujioka for a called strike. And the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. And there is a fastball, and this ball is swung on. It is lifted in the left center field. This ball is going to get down. It's trouble. It's off the wall. Fujioka is digging for 2. It's picked up, it's fielded, and he is going to cruise into second with a double. So Fujioka has got himself a leadoff double here to start the 8th inning. And that is going to bring up Akito Takabe. So Josh asks the questions, what are your thoughts on the pitch count? There used to be people like Satchel Paige who would throw both games of a doubleheader. Now you see a pitcher rarely go past the 7th inning. So my thoughts on the pitch count is this has been driven by the agents, certainly the agents of baseball. There are certain pitchers, not all pitchers, but certain pitchers that can pitch at the same speed and maintain their velocity, as well as the fact that when you think of it, they're doing pitch counts on the game itself. They don't even factor into account bullpen pitches, pitches between innings, all the rest of that stuff. When you start thinking about that, it's not just game pitches. They're also throwing on the in-between innings. And so I'm not sure how everybody can factor into some of that stuff. I really think that there are some guys who can really stretch out and go further. There's a first pitch fastball that is delivered to Takabe. It's a misses on the outside part of the plate. The count is quickly 1-0. Takabe tonight is breach base 3 times. He's 2 for 4. He's got 2 singles. And I have to apologize because this is actually Yoshida. I'm making a meal of this here, guys. That leadoff hit was by Valera, who had the double. I got to start concentrating on what I'm doing. We're getting into the late parts of the game. Valera hits the double, and Yoshida has now stepped up to the plate. He's got ball 1 on him. So I'm a bit too busy chatting with the chat, and I'm not focusing on the job at hand. So I apologize to everybody here. So the runner at second is Valera. We got Yoshida at the plate, and he takes a fastball for a strike, and the count is 1-1. As I said earlier tonight, for those of you who are actually ones are the same, they're both wearing white pants and dark tops. And so the confusion is a little bit high. The only thing that's different is that the Buffaloes have gold in their trim on the black jerseys and the white with the Marines. And there's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to second. It's fielded neatly. They flip it over to first. And that is going to retire Yoshida on a ground out 4-3, but they have put Valera over to third, and that is going to bring up the right fielder Yutaro Sugimoto. So Sugimoto tonight is officially 0 for 3. He has struck out, he's flown to center, and popped to first. I'll try to keep up now with the chat once I can, now that I've got myself sorted out. We need a few more cups of tea and a little bit more juice in that to keep us focused on what's happening. So it's here in the top of the 8th inning. It's a 3-2 score for the Buffaloes. The runner at third is Valera. There is 1 down. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is 0-1. So again, the pitch on the thoughts on the pitch count, just in general. When you start factoring in a lot of things, you can cut down on the counts in other areas, or maybe instead of taking 8 preps in between innings, maybe you cut it down to 5 or 6. The max is 8 pitches. Plus the fact that the Japanese, they can throw on the side in front of the dugout. Now, these guys are throwing and throwing and throwing. And so that ball's in the dirt and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So I'm not really against the pitch counts. If you guys can, or pitchers can get out there and throw, let them go. But much like marathon runners, there is a point where they're going to hit their peak, and some of that stuff can be monitored. There's a breaking ball that misses and count is 2-1. I'll give you an idea about that. What I think about is the first thing is the easy one is velocity. If a pitcher is throwing 95 in the first inning and he's throwing 95 in the third, and all of a sudden in the 5th inning, there's a significant drop, you can start to see that that's where the problem comes in. You can take him out because he's hit a wall. There's a fastball that swung on and missed. The count is now 2-2 to Sugimoto. So that's something to always keep in mind is, does the pitcher have a wall that he'll run into? So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sugimoto digs in, waiting on the delivery from the left-handed pitcher Sasaki, and here's the pitch. It is down in the dirt. The count now goes to 3-2. So Shota Suzuki working here with the runner on third and 1 away. Looming on deck is the designated hitter, Rangel Ravello. I'm just curious to see if they're going to bring back Yamamoto for the 8th inning. That would be really, really interesting. And so here we go. There's a fastball that misses down in the dirt. And that is going to be ball 4 to Sugimoto, and he's going to draw himself a walk. And that is going to bring up the designated hitter, Rangel Ravello. And on top of that, to the mound to have a talk with his young left-hander, Suzuki. So there's a full-on conference on the mound right now as he's giving instructions to his left-hander. Runners on the corners are probably talking about the first and third situation here. Obviously, with Sugimoto at first, he's not really a threat to run. I'm sure the Buffaloes would like to pad another run here. Ravello at the plate is definitely a double play candidate. Josh says, are the laces on the ball the same size as the MLB? It's a good question. It's a good question, Josh, because I don't have the answer to you on that one. The baseball certainly recently in the MLB, they've gone to the low seam balls so that it favors more the hitter. It makes it really difficult or more difficult to be able to get movement. There's a fastball that is delivered on the outside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. In the Japanese league, they had a ball controversy a few years ago where the president of the NPB had to resign because they acknowledged that the balls were juiced. There were home run records falling left and right. There was a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side, and the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Ravello. Ravello tonight is 0 for 3 in the ball game. So left-hander against the right-hander here. Suzuki gets the sign from his catcher. He's ready to go back to work. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball that misses well off the outside corner. The count goes now to 1-2. So the height of the seams, obviously, the larger the seams or the higher the seams, you can get a lot more movement on your pitches, a lot more break on your breaking balls. So those are obviously play into the pitcher's hands. There's a fastball that misses inside. It makes Ravello dance off the plate, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As we said, we do appreciate everybody who's checked in with us tonight. We are going to be back on the air again tomorrow for the Hawks and the Lions, so hopefully you can come in and check that one out. And Suzuki has stepped off the backside of the rubber and faked the throw over to first base. Easily getting back is the runner, Sugimoto. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's delivered. It's a fastball, and that is swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side, and that keeps the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the left-hander, Suzuki gets the sign from his catcher, and he's ready to go back to work. Sato delivers a sign. They've set up outside on Ravello. There's the pitch, and it's a fastball that misses way outside. And the count now goes to 3-2. So we're getting into deep water here as we're in the 8th inning. The Buffaloes have runners on the corners with 1 out. It's now a full count to Rangel Ravello. The catcher for the Marines steps up and flashes some signals. The infield is in all the way around. Any ball that's put in play, they're going to take a shot at the plate, as they need to cut down Valera from third so that the Buffaloes do not extend this lead. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. And that's a fastball that is taken inside. Suzuki can't believe the call. He's blowing air into the sky. You can see his body language is not happy. And Ravello has drawn himself a walk, and the bases are now loaded with 1 out. We're going to look at that again on the replay. And that pitch looked pretty darn good. I can't see always the inside and out because of the camera angle. But that pitch looked like a real good pitch right at the knees. It certainly wasn't low. And that is going to load the bases, and now we're going to have the center fielder Shuhei Fukuda scheduled to come to the plate. So for Fukuda tonight, he's officially 1 for 3. He has singled, he's bounced into a fielder's choice, and he has grounded out to first. So he gets himself dug in. He's already choking up on the bat. So Fukuda stands in. He's got a slightly open stance. Left-hander against the left-hander. Suzuki ready to go back to work. Josh says it was a strike all day. I thought so too. There's a fastball that's fouled away, and the count is 0-1. I mean, really, the catcher did a great job. He stayed underneath the baseball. It wasn't like he had to jerk it up or anything. My rule of thumb is he caught it right at the knees of the catcher. Like when you look at the catcher's knees where the ball was received, it couldn't have been low. If anything, it was inside because of the offset camera angle. So here comes the 0-1, and it's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count goes to 1-1. The infield is now in double play depth up the middle, but the corners are in. The Buffaloes are looking to pad their lead here. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Suzuki holds at the chest. He kicks and delivers. It's a ground ball up the middle, and it's through into center field. 1 run is in. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's cut off, and they're going to keep the runner at third base. Sugimoto is held up, but that is going to increase the lead. It is a RBI single for Fukuda. And that's going to advance Ravello to second. It moves Sugimoto to third, and scoring is Valera. And the manager, Iguchi, has come out of the dugout, and I think he has seen enough. Let's see what happens here. Usually that means that they was grounded right up the middle, right through the pitcher, right back through the box. The second baseman, Fukuda, tried to dive to his right. The ball was not even close. And of course, there is the pitcher, Yamamoto, who is cheering his team on from the bench. That is padding the lead, as they have extended the lead now to 4-2, and that is it for Suzuki. So that is where we stand right now. The bases are loaded, and we are going to have a pitching change. And that is definitely going to happen as they bring the Mercedes-Benz out onto the field. And now we've got ourselves a new pitcher. That is the bullpen carts that they are using. They bring their players out with a Mercedes convertible. And we'll see who the Marines are going to here. Looks like they've got Atsuba Hirohata coming in, but I'm going to confirm that. But that is exactly who it is. It's going to be Atsuya Hirohata. He is taking over here for Suzuki. I'm going to get back to John there in a second. So we have Atsuya Hirahata coming into the game. So John asked the question. He goes, can you explain why you say the agent pushes the pitchers to go as long as they can? I have no idea what a good NPB contract salary is. So first of all, let's answer the first question. I don't think it's the agent who pushes the pitchers. I think it's the agent who is the one who is in the ear of the teams, the management of the league, to say, hey, we got to be careful of your investment. You can't let them go that long. I think they feel that the longer a pitcher pitches in a ball game, the more susceptible he is to injury. So I'm not sure why the magic number seems to be around 100 pitches. If a big leaguer gets to 80 to 100 pitches in North America, that's usually the hook where they take him out of the game. You think of Nolan Ryan a number of years ago, there were some games he would bring it up to 170 pitches in a ball game. I'm not saying that that's necessarily right either, but it looks like those days are long gone. You were not a starting pitcher, or you were a reliever because you weren't good enough to start back in the day. So that brings us now to the shortstop Kotaro Kobayashi coming to the bat with one out here on the bases loaded, and the first pitch is a fastball swung on and missed. And the count is 0-1. Kobayashi tonight is 0 for 3. He's flown out to the center fielder, popped to third, and he's bounced into a fielder's choice. So the right-hander in the ball game here to face the right-hander Kobayashi, and there's a ground ball back to the pitcher. It's fielded. They throw to the plate for one, back to first. It's a double play. What a fantastic situation. A great play by the pitcher. That's going to go down as a ground out double play. 1, 2, 3. And the Chiba Lotte Marines get themselves out of a jam big time here, as that is going to do it here in the 8th inning. But they do get a run. The Buffaloes got 1 run in the inning on 2 hits. There were no errors, and there were 2 runners left aboard. We are now moving to the bottom of the 8th inning. It is the Orix Buffaloes 4, the Chiba Lotte Marines 2. Stick around, everybody. I'll be back again in just a couple of minutes. Our friend Josh is signing out for the night. John, I'll answer the rest of your questions in just a couple of minutes. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, friends. Steve coming back at you, a clean-shaven Steve. Thank you for watching Last Raps Baseball. And please continue to support my channel, among others, like Another Hollis Build. Awesome commercial. And now I'll show you a few more things that we do have. We have toys, like this bobblehead Star Wars on wheels. We have Noids. We can't keep avoiding them forever. We do have Legos. Love my Legos. We have Origami Folder. Check him out. He's new into this, getting started, has good following already. We have Red Beard Breaks. And we also have these things that, in a pinch, will tell you what your temperature is. So, if you like all of this, and if you like Last Raps Baseball, join all of us. We'd love to have you. And I know you would enjoy us. Thank you, peace, good night, and cheers.
Welcome back, everybody. We have a pitching change for the Orix Buffaloes. It is going to be former Atlanta Brave left-hander Jesse Biddle coming into the game. He is going to be taking over for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And Biddle is making his appearance. We've seen him pitch earlier this year. And Biddle is looking like he is all the part. He also spent some time in the Cincinnati Reds organization. So Biddle takes over. He is going to be facing the 9-1-2 hitters in the batting order for Chiba. That's Fujioka, Takabe, and Fujiwara. And for Yudai Fujioka, he steps up to the plate hitting 154. He is 1 for 2 tonight and a walk. And so Biddle is ready to go to work. The big fella is a left-hander getting the sign from his catcher, and the first pitch is a fastball that misses upstairs. Count is 1-0. So John Cardona asked the question. He goes, I have no idea what a good NPB contract salary is. I'll share some of that with you in just a minute. There's a fastball that misses down and away. Count is 2-0. So usually for the import players specifically, we'll start with them. An import player that will come over to Japan, if you don't have any experience, or if you're a low-level minor leaguer, or you don't really have the star power, they'll bring you in, and I believe it's about 750,000 or 790. There's a fastball ticket for a called strike by Fujioka, who squared the bunt. So here we go back again, and the pitch delivered by Biddle is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 3-1. So Biddle here working quickly, ready to go back to work, and there's a fastball ticket for a called strike. The count goes to 3-2. So yeah, usually about 700, and I think it's 750 or 790 is kind of the minimum that you'll see the import guys get. And there's a fastball that almost hits Fujioka, and he is going to be aboard here with a leadoff walk in the bottom half of the 8th inning. That's going to bring up the top of the order, Akito Takabe. Now, on the other side of the coin, there is Freddie Galvis, who signed with the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, and I believe he got 2 years and $6 million, or 2 years and $8 million. And I can't remember off the top of my head if it was $6 million or $8 million. I believe it was 2 years, $8 million. And when I think of Adam Jones, who retired last year, he had a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year option, and it was something similar. So there is a fastball delivered. It is bunted down the third base line. It is fielded by Valera. He throws over to second, and that is going to retire Fujioka. So the bunt did not get the job done. The batter Takabe was bunted that ball just a little too hard. Valera makes a great play throwing to second, but they weren't able to turn a double play. So that goes as a fielder's choice for Takabe, and that's going to bring up Kyoto Fujiwara. And Fujiwara squares the bunt, and he gets it down. It's fielded by Valera. He throws to first, but they say it is safe, not in time, and it looks like that the base runner, Fujiwara, is going to have himself a hit. But we're going to have to wait and see here, because I'm curious to see if they're going to go up to VAR, and it looks like the Buffaloes are going to do that. That's what they want. They want to go up and have a look at the replay. We'll take a look at the replay ourselves and try to give you our thoughts to see if the runner is safe or not. So back to John Cardona's question while the umpires leave the field to take a look at the replay. So that's kind of what you're looking at for import guys. The import players that come over, they all command themselves some money, especially if they've got some big league name or pedigree. I have to look up what Gregory Polanco got for the Giants, but I'm sure it wasn't nickels and dimes. Yeah, as we look at the replay, I think he beat it out. I think he's safe at first base. I don't think this is going to be enough to overrule it. It was a nice play by Valera. He fielded it barehanded off balance, but that ball looked like it is going to be not in time at first base, and now it's going to be first and second. But we'll have to get the official call from the umpires. When they come back out, this shouldn't take very long. At least in my opinion, it shouldn't. Yeah, he definitely beat that out. I don't know what they'd have to see to overturn that. So that's typically what happens. Some of the NPB players can make as good a wage in Japan as they can if they came over to the major leagues. I look at the pitcher, Sagano, and there is the official call. The batter Fujiwara is safe. That's going to go down as a single infield hit on the bunt. It advances Takabe over to second. That's going to bring up the catcher, Toshiya Sato. For Sato tonight, he's officially 0 for 3. He did draw a walk in the 5th inning. He's got his average at 293 with no homers and 5 RBIs. So here we go. Left-hander against the left-hander. Biddle delivers. It's a fastball that misses upstairs for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So, for example, Hayato Sakamoto, Sagano, some of these guys, could be making $10 million a year in American money and be just happy or quite happy just to stay in Japan, not necessarily have to, bounce over to the United States. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 2-0. But some of the contracts like Katsuda Yamada, the second baseman for the Swallows, Yuki Yanagita for the Hawks, some of those guys, they lock up some of their big Japanese stars and kind of keeps them from wanting to go across the way. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 2-1. Of course, Seiya Suzuki made a pretty good debut for the Chicago Cubs the other day, coming over from the Hiroshima Carp this year. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Biddle checks the runner at second. He delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to short. Over to second for 1, back to first. And it is going to be a double play as the batter Sato hits into the 6-4-3 variety. And that is going to do it for the Marines in their half of the 8th inning. So for Chiba in their half of the 8th, there was no runs. There was 1 hit. There were no errors and 1 runner left aboard. 13 batters left on base for Chiba tonight. That is looking like the story of this one. We're moving to the top of the 9th inning. It is the Orix Buffaloes 4, the Chiba Lotte Marines 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment with the call of the top of the 9th inning. We're glad you are with us.
Good evening, sports fans. I hope you all have been enjoying the game. This is just another message from another Hollis build. I hope that your team is in the lead, but if not, remember, that's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But you know I'm gonna change that tune. When I'm back on top in June. I said that's life. And as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on my team, but I don't let it get me down. 'Cause this fine old world, it keeps spinning around. I hope you enjoy the rest of the game, and if it remains the same, remember, that's life. You want your fill? Go check another Hollis build on YouTube. Last Raps Baseball. Let's get back to the game. Let's go! You know that's life. You know it. One love and peace.
Welcome back, everybody. We have a pitching change for the Marines. It's going to be Fumiya Ono coming into the ball game. He is going to be the 4th pitcher on the books tonight for the Marines. He is a right-hander, and he is going to be going to work. He's going to be facing the 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the batting order for the Buffaloes. So scheduled to come to bat is Ryo Oda, Kenya Wakatsuki, and Kodai Fusano. So 8, 9, and 1 here to face them. So John says, yeah, that's a lot more money than I thought. They do get there is quite a bit of money in the Japanese league. And you think about it, some of these teams, of course, when you think of the names of the teams, like the Hiroshima Toyo Carp or the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, there are certainly some organizations that are the key sponsors in the name, or the Chiba Lotte Marines. You know, there are sponsors that are in the names of these teams that are basically supplying or helping pay for not just the advertising, but also the sponsorship in here. See, fastball that misses outside to Oda, and the count is 1-0. So where they have some bucks behind them, they can pay certain ones. And certainly Fukuoka has been one of those over the last few years that have benefited. See, fastball that misses outside to Oda, and the count is 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Oda is ready to go back, or Ono is ready to go back to work to Oda, and there's a fastball swung on it, is popped up behind home plate, and it is going to reach the seats. Sato got all the way to the backstop and watched it sail into the rows just behind home plate. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Oda. We've seen Ono pitch before. I saw him pitch last year, and I personally thought I really liked the way that Ono pitched. Seen him throw a little bit this year, and he seems to have struggled a little bit. There's a fastball that swung on and fouled away. The count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes. And when I say struggle, it's not necessarily the statistical struggle, because his numbers, he's appeared in 3 games. He's thrown 2 1/3 innings, only allowed 1 hit. And there's a fastball that swung on and missed. And that is going to retire Oda on strikes for the first out of the inning. He hasn't allowed a run yet, but when I say struggle, it doesn't quite look like he's got the command of his pitches quite yet. When he misses, he seems to miss what I would call in bad positions. But I think when he starts to dial it in a little bit more and gets a little bit more comfortable, he's going to be okay. So here comes the pitch. And it's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1 to Wakatsuki. But again, that's just my thoughts on watching him pitch as we've seen him here. So here's the 0-1. There's a fastball that misses down and away. And the count is 1-1. Wakatsuki is 2 for 22 on the season now. He's batting .091. He had a base hit in the 5th inning that helped bring his average up. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to Hechavarria at third. He fields it neatly over to first, and that is going to retire Wakatsuki on a ground out 5-3, and that's going to leave it all up to Kodai Sano. John Cardona says it's still crazy that MLB will give a player, even a great one, like Tatis, a 14-year contract. Betts is signed for 12 years. Well, what's interesting is I think if I'm the agent for Wander Franco or Cabrian Hayes, for that matter, who signed a big deal this week, I'd be firing my agent right now. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike. I think that everybody in North America can appreciate and understand one thing. We are suffering from some inflation. I don't think it's going away anytime soon. So some of these contracts that look like they're big money, they may not be as big as what we think they are in about 7 or 8 years' time. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-1. There's a fastball delivered, and this ball is swung on and is hit over the head of the first baseman. And Sano's got his 3rd hit of the ball game. And if we played a little further, he's only a triple short of a cycle. But he's got a 2-out single, and that's going to bring up Vic Valera. Vivid Life says he's going to start training for his baseball career this week. It's a fantastic idea. Might be a little late in the game to get it going now. So the runner at first is Sano with 2 away. That's going to leave it up to Vic Valera to come to bat. Valera tonight is 1 for 4. He doubled and scored a run his last time up. And Valera tonight, this is the first time I've seen him hit from the left side. His first at bats that I've remember he was hitting from the other side of the plate. So here comes the pitch. And it's a fastball swung on. It is grounded to short. It's fielded neatly by the shortstop Fujioka. He flips it over to second for the fielder's choice. And that is going to retire Sano for the 3rd out of the inning. So fielder's choice, 6-4, ends the inning. There was no runs. There was 1 hit. There were no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now through 8 innings, or through 8.5 innings. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines trailing the Orix Buffaloes 4-2. We're coming down to the bottom of the 9th inning. Everybody stick with us. We'll be right back in just a moment. We're glad you could be here with us. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom half of the ninth inning, and there is a pitching change for the Orix Buffaloes. They are bringing in a right-hander. It is going to be entrusted to Yoshihiro Hirano to come in and close this one out. So Yoshihisa Hirano in to close this one out for the Buffaloes. He has got himself a couple of saves this season. He's got an ERA of 4.5. So we're just going to get the extra specs on Hirano. He'll be the third pitcher used tonight. So Yoshihisa Hirano is the guy coming in to close this one out. So Hirano ready to take over. And John Cardona says, I never thought about considering about inflation in any sports contract ever. I think the first $500 million player that we're going to see is going to be Juan Soto. And Soto's agent probably had it right where he turned down contract offers and he said, no, we're not going to lock up long term, because that's the case. I think, for example, like even myself right now, I've been looking at contracts for currency and currency exchange, specifically to Japan, because we will be heading back. And the American dollar, the Canadian dollar, everything right now is very strong. In fact, in the last month, it's been a 10% gain for the North American currencies against the Japanese yen. So I'm curious to see what type of inflation, if any, is going to be experienced in Japan. But certainly our dollar is going to be taking us a lot further once they decide to open back up. And there's a first pitch fastball delivered to Brandon Laird, and that is fouled away, and the count is 0-1. So it is going to be Laird, Martin, and Yasuda, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the batting order for Chiba. Do you face the reliever Hirano? For Brandon Laird tonight, he is officially 2 for 3. He's homered, he's singled, he's walked, and he's struck out. His last at bat, he hit his 200th career NPB home run. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-1. Yeah, 100%. Just take out that scary inflation chart. 1 ball and 1 strike, and there's a fastball that is in for a call strike. I mean, I think if you had a mortgage on a home, I'd be locking in right now at a very low rate. But if you're looking for a long-term contract, if I'm a player, I don't think I'm locking into the long-term, especially if you're a star guy right now, because who knows where this dollar is going to head. That Wander Franco contract looked like it was big, but it's probably a very favorable contract for the ownership of Tampa Bay. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as the last pitch missed down to Laird. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on. It's tapped foul over on the third base side. The count remains at 2-2. So Hirano certainly does not want to allow a base runner, because that would bring the tying run to the plate. It'll make things a lot more interesting here in the bottom half of the ninth inning. So if I'm him, I'm going right after these hitters to make them put the ball in play. So here comes the 2-2, and there's a fastball that misses down and away. And the count is now 3-2. Is this insurance run for the Buffalo going to hold up here, as they have a 4-2 lead here in the bottom half of the ninth inning? So here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It's lifted foul over into the seats on the first base side, and that's going to keep the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. This is going to be the 8th pitch of the at-bat for Brandon Laird. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. And here's the pitch. It's a fastball, and it's taken for a called third strike, and Laird knew it as soon as he took the pitch. And he was upset with himself. Nobody to blame. That pitch was definitely right on the outside part of the plate. I don't know what he was looking at. That's where you're trained your hitters to look away. And he'll react in for sure. And that was a pitch that I think he would want back all over again, but he has gone for the first out of the inning. That is going to bring up the right fielder, Leonis Martin. For Martin, he is 1 for 2 tonight. He's also doubled and hit a sacrifice fly, and then the first pitch is swung on and fouled away. The count is 0-1. John says he's new to the channel, but you live in Japan, correct? And the answer to that is no. And I am in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. We are north of the border. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. There's a fastball swung on, and this one's fouled away over on the third base side. The count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. So Martin looking to keep this one going here. He's trying to get a base runner on base. He would be one of those ones to try to get on base, because that would bring the tying run to the plate. So here comes the 0-2 pitch. And there is a split finger pitch down in the dirt. It is swung on and missed. Leonis Martin has gone down on strikes, so that is 2 up and 2 away. And that is going to bring up the first baseman, Hisanori Yasuda. John Cardona says, the future of the housing market is the most confusing thing in the world to me right now. Well, we can talk about that ad nauseum after, and maybe even save that for tomorrow night's stream as a social topic. But I can tell you right here and right now, we have really struggled in this part of the country because a lot of foreign money has come into this part of our world, or the world I live in, has been purchasing a lot of property. The local people who live here have a hard time being able to afford the properties because everything is being snapped up and it's artificially driving prices up. We can talk about that a little later tomorrow if you're coming back into the stream. So the first pitch to Yasuda is a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. And there's another fastball delivered to Yasuda, and it's taken on the inside corner for another strike. The count is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Yasuda. So now the Marines are down to their last strike. Here comes the pitch from Minori, and it's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-2. Just a reminder, we will do a wrap-up and check the out-of-town scoreboard after this one is complete. So stick around. We'll give you all of those scores from around the NPB before we wrap it up tonight. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on. This is lifted into center field. Ranging over to his left is the center fielder, but the right fielder is also moving in. And it is going to be caught by the right fielder, Sugimoto, and that is going to do it here in the 9th inning. So there were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 9 complete, and the final score is the Orix Buffaloes 4, the Chiba Lotte Marines 2. Thanks for being with us here, everybody. We'll be back with the wrap-up here in just a minute. We're glad you guys could be here with us. We are holding it down tonight, but our voice is basically finished. I'm going to give you guys a little Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame memory, and then I'll come back and wrap it up here with the out-of-town scoreboard. Welcome back, everybody. We'll take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. The Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles have an 8-4 lead over the Hokkaido Nippon-ham Fighters. That game is now in the bottom of the 9th inning with the Fighters batting. In the Central League, the Yomiuri Giants and the Occult Swallows are tied at 2. It's in the bottom of the 9th inning. And that game is still going on. And then the other game that is also happening is in the top of the 9th. The Hiroshima Toyo Carp have a 9-1 lead over the Hanshin Tigers. That game looks like it is all but in the books. Again, your final score here from Chiba, it is the Orix Buffaloes 4, the Chiba Lotte Marines 2. This game here was an entertaining game. It was the big 3-run blow in the 5th inning by Kodai Sano was the difference. The ace, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, went 7 innings. He threw 122 pitches. He allowed 9 hits. He walked 5 and struck out 9. Was not one of his finer outings, but he did get the win today. Jesse Biddle had a hold, and Hirano picked up the save in his 600th NPB game. It was a bit of a tough luck loss for the starter Ojima, who pitched well. It was only the 3-run homer that he allowed. Unfortunately, that was the difference in the ball game. And so once again, your final score is 4-2. I want to thank everybody who was in the chat tonight. Troy was in here. Vivid Life was here. We also had John Cardona, Eric Castley, he stopped in. We had Zero Fox Sports and everybody else, Josh as well. We thank you guys for being here again. We're going to be on tomorrow night, the same time, except it's going to be the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks and the Saitama Cebu Lions. We'll give you that call. It's going to go 10 o'clock Pacific or 1 o'clock Eastern if you're, depending on which coast you're at. So hopefully you guys can pop in and do this again. Thanks again, everybody. We will be back on again in just a little bit. So less than 24 hours, we'll be on the air doing this all over again. We appreciate you guys. Thanks again, and we will catch up with you again tomorrow night. Thanks, everybody.